to him. You could be a Bradley's baddie too. You could be a Bradley's baddie too. So join Jovan and get your critical cap on. 'Cause there's a Bradley's baddie inside of me and you.
Yo. Hey guys. Hi stream. Hello. Hello stream. Hey. Welcome to chat. Oh, I'm not using YouTube's dual stream tool. Oh, I forgot to. Whatever. Hey guys. How are we doing today? How's everybody hanging? Welcome to stream. It's time to debate. And if you are here, it's gonna be great. If you want to debate, then pick up the phone. 219-327-8005. Own. Are there any major holes in the Epicurean argument against? Remind me what that argument is. Do I want this light on or off? Off, on, off, on, off, on. Cuts a lot of the shadows. Off, on, off, on, off, on. What do we think? Off, on. Off, on, off, on, different color. That color-wise does not really do much. I didn't forget this time. Douchebags. If you go with on, some random douche will call it performative. That's so funny. Yeah, but like 4 of the Funkos are on the floor. I need to get a stand. I'll do it when my bookshelves get in. Oh, 2 birthday parties. Well, I think they're both for Flying Leech, right? So here's a birthday.
You could be You could be a birthday baddie too. A very happy baddie birthday to you.
Yeah, I know you guys missed a pronoun crash out yesterday because I had a call muted. My bad. My bad. As said, good luck on your performance today. You know what? I'll try. Mingledorf, thank you for subscribing with Amazon Prime over on Twitch. Fanatic, thank you for subscribing with Prime on Twitch. Miss Julie Nicole, thank you for subscribing with Prime over on Twitch. Ashley Kavita, thank you for subscribing at Tier 1. And May Devil, thank you for subscribing with Prime over on Twitch. Was it a funny crash out? It was pretty funny. Gaming today, Jovan. Shifted midnight drop today. What is that? This looks like AI as fuck, dog. No, but the homies should be gaming tomorrow. Someone mentioned a Jovan Funko. Can we get a Jimmy and Jovan Funko 2-pack? Jimmy would probably love that, honestly. Look, if I had a 3D printer, I would make little stuff to sell in my shop. I'm sure that wouldn't backfire on me in any way. Sounds performative. Nah, you're right. You're right. I gotta remember it's performative. You're so right. I gotta remember that I'm just performative, guys. That call was so fucking funny. Anyway, 219-327-8005 is the number to debate today. When will you make Jovan branded cat ear headphones for merch store? I'm just saying, Yowu just got to do a Jovan Bradley collab, honestly. How many likes we got on the YouTube right now? Oh, y'all slacking. Y'all are slackers. My stance are right. These are all my stances. Wait, you're on YouTube. These are all my stances. I believe those things. Can I get a Hail Satan? No, I don't believe in him. We got an office hours call, but I am going to wait to see if we get any debates first before I immediately take an office hours call today. I know somebody in chat was like, Obama era judges are, there's literally not a single judge who's blocking the Epstein files right now. Not a single one. It's the DOJ. We're waiting on the DOJ to release all the redactions, but they won't. Because obviously they won't. Jesus Christ, Kurt. Anyone can call with an office hours question. It's just not a guarantee you're going to get through. Big old day. Thank you for becoming a tier 1 sub on Twitch. The actual melee, or the actual mill. Thank you for becoming a tier 1 sub over on Twitch. Joey Wander, thank you for the super chat. Started a new med for my OCD today. Wish me luck, baddies. 1 maggot equals 1 good luck. Swampy, thank you for the super chat. Jovan Bradley / the Birdman collab gaming or debate. I don't know who that is. Should I? You want a caller muted emote and a Jeff emote. I can make those happen. I can reach out to Grace. Yeah, I haven't added any emotes in like over a year. Are there any stances that you could entertain on or off the board both sides on? What do you mean? I mean, I could argue both sides to any of my stances, but that's just because I know the opposite side's arguments. I'm just that good, you know? Oh God, Asmongold. I've never reacted to an Asmongold video because I just like, he's dumb. Like I struggle to react to really dumb people. Madam Leftists, thank you so much for subscribing for tier 1 over on Twitch. Yeah, I'd have to pick an Asmongold video for me to watch. Arwen's doing great. I can actually ask Arwen to send me a picture of her daughter's room with all the stuff that we got for her, like set up now. Yeah, her and her daughter are moved into their new place. So W to everybody on TikTok who helped them get out of, you know. You mean ass mold? Where'd I get my headphones? Amazon. Well, yeah, that's the thing. Asmongold doesn't speak with any type of validity. Like, he just says things. I don't do just says things. Have used some of your talking points destroying people on Facebook. Dope. Always remember you can check JovanBradley.com for my source document. If you want any of access to any of the sources. The police and prisons section and the gender and sex section should be updated soon. I'm just double checking all the sources. The gender and sex section has like 120 something sources in it, I think. So like checking those takes a long time. I have no clue about the WNBA. You can also on JovanBradley.com, you can find our mutual aid resource section where you can find access to aid in your state. Do you play Magic the Gathering? No. The derb, that those studies are true with an asterisk. When they say closely resemble, there's a lot of asterisks in that. But the long and short of it is that there's a few things. Reaction to resembles isn't really good to use anyway, because like our brains don't work in a way in which you can like, how do I describe it? It's really, if you were just given a brain scan, it's really hard to know if that came from a man or a woman. It tends to be like reaction to stimuli is stuff that we look at and see how those areas of the brain light up. But even then, it's never like a one-to-one. Dubsy, thank you for subscribing on Amazon Prime with Amazon Prime on Twitch for your 5th month. Guys, 219-327-8005. If you think you can debate, call the phone number. Would love somebody who has, some type of source for a claim they want to make. Yeah, but here's my issue with those brain scans, right? It shouldn't fucking matter. Like, my issue is when we rely on things like that in the trans argument. It's legitimizing, in my opinion, like trans medicalism. Like, oh, there has to be something about you, about your brain or your body that's altered, and that's what makes you trans, and which is just like, it's just not really how gender identity works, you know? Have your debates per stream gone down at all? Just depends on the day. Some days I get a bunch of calls, some days I don't. Usually the first hour is always slow. What's our like situation like on YouTube? 300 of you in here, almost 400 and only 167 likes. Y'all don't want calls. Just say what the truth is. You don't want calls. Is anybody watching on YouTube that's not subscribed as well? I'll be a little annoyed. Javon bullying me into liking 100%. You're just now hearing about how they tore down an entire black village to build Central Park? Oh, yeah. Is that a video idea? Going over all the destroyed black towns that white people just like destroyed over the years? Likes are one and done. I will say it is getting highly saturated, the debate market. And like, unfortunately, it's getting saturated with people who are really bad at it. So most of the people will call into the bad streams because they're like, well, I can beat this person, which is why I get really annoyed at people who debate for fun. Because it's like, bruh. You do video essays? I have been. Go look at them. Like two of my top videos in my YouTube page are both video essays. My most watched video is a video essay. Debate Dean about communism. He won't. Why was God good when David's wives tortured for David's sin of adultery with Bathsheba? I mean, God's also made people's wives get raped as punishment. Like, God's not great. What do you think makes Dean stand out in the debate space? He's a conventionally attractive young white liberal. Like, he's not doing anything different than the rest of us. I would even argue some of his setup is not as good as the rest of us, but he's a conventionally attractive young white liberal. Are you a naturalist? Probably not. Dean talks too fast. That I don't even mind that. The only thing, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, the thing about Dean's show, and now again I haven't watched it in a while, so he might have changed this tactic, but the thing about Dean's show that I didn't like is that he would interrupt his debates to thank people for sending him money. I don't like that. That annoys the shit out of me. Yeah, I hate that. I hate that a lot. Like, to talk about like what the person who called into Jimmy's show yesterday to say that I was performative, that feels more performative to me than anything. And I'm not outwardly calling Dean performative, but I'm saying that feels performative. Like, I'm gonna stop this conversation midway to say thank you guys for sending me money. No, true. Performatives when I have background lights. So true with that. So true, bestie. So true, bestie. That call was so fucking crazy. I think on TikTok, that kind of thing is fine. I disagree. Is it better than ignoring them? Sure. But like, you can also just do it in between calls. Because like, I thank people too. I just do it in between calls. Other than that, I think Dean has great Trump arguments. I think his trans arguments are very lacking. I think his racism and like feminism arguments are very lacking. But I think his Trump arguments are fun. I think they're great. I think they're well researched. I do wish, and again, this could just be selection bias because it's just what I see when I tend to his streams pop up. I do wish they would focus less on the E. Jean Carroll thing. Not because it's not important, but because I just feel like there's so many other things Trump's doing that we should also be talking about. But that's fine. Yeah, and if Dean and Parker ever want tips on the trans argument, god damn, feel free to ask. I just don't think it's a very good argument in my opinion. Joseph called in yesterday. He lost and he couldn't substantiate his claims, and then he was upset because he couldn't substantiate his claims, and now he's in chat crying the next day because he couldn't substantiate his claims. Video will be up. I think it'll be up in like 2 days, so you guys will all see it. Or if you're a Twitch sub, you can go watch the VOD from yesterday on Twitch. I'm super behind on the VODs on YouTube. I'll get on that, I promise. Co-stream with Dean and Parker? Probably not. We don't really operate in the same spaces. No, Joseph called about systemic racism not existing. And when I provided evidence, he said, your evidence isn't evidence. Even though I provided multiple sources. And then his evidence was nothing. He provided nothing. Time to hire a full-time editor to run the whole channel. I'm going to be honest. We're getting there. We're getting to that point. I actually have, what about Santana? I would co-stream with Santana. I haven't talked to him in a while. I actually have my setup pretty automated right now. So because my YouTube videos require like 0 editing, right? It's just putting an intro and an outro. That shit is all automated for me right now. I built an app that just does it. It just puts the intro and outro in it and then boom. So that is fine. I already have a shorts editor. Although I really would like, I'm debating like somebody, like a clipper who clips the stream while it's going. but whatever. I already have a shorts editor. The editing stuff I'll need once I start getting them, start filming them more will be for the video essays. That's really going to be where I'm going to need more help on the editing side. But like my debate stuff, it's super easy. It's just like, boom, boom, intro, outro, then it's done. Like legitimately, the only thing about that takes a while is the fucking, like watching Premiere, just the Premiere bubble, like the fucking process bar. That's the fucking, that's the only thing that takes longer than seeing the like putting it together, is watching the Premiere Pro progress bar. I saw FD Signifier uploaded a video about Candace Owens. I just haven't watched it yet. All right, we got some calls. Some debates. All right, coming up to stream is Kevin calling from Colorado to talk about topic number 5, trans men and women being men and women. Kevin, if you can hear me, please provide me your age and pronouns.
I'm 24.
Interesting. You were 27 last time you called. What happened?
No, I'm 24.
Oh, okay. So you lied last time. Interesting.
No, I'm 24.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So that would mean last time when you told us you were 27, you lied. That's fine. And you moved from Arizona?
Well, I identify as 24, so.
And you moved from Arizona? You moved to Colorado?
I move around. I have a
Interesting.
home in both states.
Interesting. And your
Perfect.
pronouns?
You guys are tracking people, huh?
Well, we
Got
ask
a big
you
budget.
we ask people their state when they call in.
Yeah.
Is that the
Okay.
big budget now, to ask somebody their state? Interesting.
No,
Your pronouns?
No, you're just tracking and retaining information.
Because the
That's
notes from the
irrelevant to the
last
conversation.
call tells
You can
us
call
where
me
you
my
called
name,
from.
Kevin.
It's not irrelevant.
You can
I need
call
your
me
pronouns. I need your pronouns.
You can call me Kevin.
Need your
No, you don't.
pronouns.
You can
You know
refer
the
to me as.
rules. You've called at this show before. I don't want to hear the nonsense. You know the
There is
rules.
no rules. Exactly. Let's
There's
have a
no
conversation,
rules.
not control.
Either you follow the rules or I move on. Super simple.
My name's Kevin. You can call me Kevin.
Waiting. Just waiting. Okay, I gave you 10 more seconds. Pronouns?
I guess we're not talking then, man.
Okay, bye.
If you don't want to have a.
See you. Bye. What the fuck? God damn. So long, Kev. You know what's even funnier is that there are no rules. Look at the description of the YouTube video. What's it say? Rules. Give name, age, pronouns at start. Damn. Very first rule, actually. If anybody wants to actually debate and can handle being an adult, unlike Kevin, goddamn, call lines are open. 219-327-8005. Wide open call-in lines. Everybody else is an office hours question, guys. Ugh. Literally everything else is an office hours question. We'll get to the office hours question calls. I got that. The show's got to be at least an hour in before I answer the office hours calls. Oh, hold on, just real quick. Let's just real quick. Turd, stop calling. At this point, I can only assume you want to have sex, and I will not have sex with you. Okay? I will not have sex with you. At this point, all I can assume is you want me because you keep calling, and I do not want to have sex with you, Turd. So please, this is me officially telling you, Turd. This is me officially telling you, I'm not interested in you. I'm not interested in you. You're not my type. You're not my type, and I'm not interested in you. So please stop trying to have sex with me. Thanks, Turd.
Stop gaslighting.
Okay. What is Turd's obsession? No clue. Probably doesn't have anybody in their like life that like likes them, so I don't know. Turd is a racist? Probably true. Oh, look who's calling back. Great. All right, repeat caller. Joe is calling back. Hey, Joe, why are you lying today about where you're calling from?
I reject your disparity argument. So do you have any better argument for your complete bullshit idea around systematic
I asked you a question.
I really don't care what you I don't care what you ask.
Do you think this is your show, Joe? You must. You must think that this is the Joe show. You must think that the name on the YouTube channel is Joe, but it's not. It's Jovan. You got to finish reading the whole name. Now, you don't control the show, so when I ask you a question, it either gets answered or I talk to somebody else. That's kind of how this works. Hate to break it to you, but it either gets answered or I talk to somebody else. Now, I'm going to read you a syllogism because you're going to reject the disparity argument, which is really stupid. So I'm going to read you a syllogism. I want you to write this down. P1. If racial disparities persist after controlling for plausible non-racial explanations, then racial bias within the system is a plausible explanation for those disparities. P2. The Veil of Darkness study finds that black drivers are stopped at higher rates during daylight than after dark, while controlling for factors such as location, time of day, and traffic conditions. Conclusion, therefore, the Veil of Darkness study provides evidence that racial bias exists within the policing system. This is not only a logically sound, but it's not only a valid syllogism, but it's fucking logically sound as fuck. Now, I have two questions that I want answered from you. First question is, why are you lying today about where you're calling from? You started the conversation in bad faith by coming in on a lie. And then number two would be, can you provide a counter syllogism that proves your point? If you can't do either of those things, I will move on. You are unmuted. I would like both of those questions answered.
Yeah, I just said I don't care about your disparity argument because it doesn't prove shit.
Didn't answer either of the two questions I asked. I said that's the only thing I want to hear, or I will move on. So goodbye. Yeah, I can start doing a pronoun crash out compilation. I would need a pillow to like put together the videos. So Joe proved that he is certifiably an idiot who can't engage in good faith conversation. So there's no reason for me to talk to him. Anyway, as I said, I'll give that syllogism again for any of you that want to use it. If racial disparities persist after controlling for plausible non-racial explanations, then racial bias within a system is a plausible explanation for those disparities. The Veil of Darkness study finds that black drivers are pulled over at higher rates during daylight hours than after dark, while controlling for factors such as location, time of day, and traffic conditions. Therefore, the Veil of Darkness study provides evidence that racial bias exists within the policing system. Super simple, super defensible. And your way to combat a syllogism is not to just go, no, I don't care. It's bad faith, and I don't do bad faith calls. Now, if we have good faith debaters that would like to call in, goddamn, 219-327-8005. Yeah, Jeff, I can send you that syllogism. I got you, dog. I wrote it down. Yeah, today callers have just been very bad faith. That's been the callers today. Joe is calling back. Do I answer? He said I'm trying to get more views by acting like an asshole. You want to see how much of an asshole I can actually be, Joe? Here, I'll show you how much of an asshole I can be. Provide me with a counter syllogism or shut the fuck up. Provide me with a counter syllogism or shut up. Provide me a counter syllogism. You got 5 seconds. 5.
Already did.
4.
You know my syllogism. 3, I said systematic racism.
That's not a syllogism. Are you stupid? Are you wait, muted. Joe, did you wake up stupidly? That's not a syllogism. Do you know what a syllogism is? Do you know how to construct an argument? Clearly you don't. Yikes. You called into a debate show without knowing how to construct an argument? I'm going to get a little performative right over here, Joe. We're going to get a little performative. Huh? I can't wait because you called into a debate show not knowing how to construct an argument. I'm going to take it a step. I'll make it even simpler for you, Joe. I'll make it simpler for you. Nobody can hear you, by the way. You're muted. That's hilarious. I'll make it even simpler, Joe. I'll make it even simpler for you. I would love. Oh my God, it would be chef's kiss if you could tell me what a syllogism is. That would be incredible. So I'm going to unmute you. You'll hear a beep. That's you being unmuted. I'd just love to know what a syllogism is. Go ahead. There was the beep. What's a syllogism?
Not playing word definition game. If you
what's a syllogism, Joe?
You don't want to defend your view. How about defend your fucking view?
Joe, here's the beauty.
So you can't defend your
muted. Here's the beauty. I did defend my position by providing a syllogism that is both logically valid and sound, because that's how you structure an argument. I provided an if-then statement that leads to a conclusion. Would you like me to read it for you again? Maybe that's the issue. Maybe you just can't read, or you can't hear. Maybe your hearing aids are out. If racial disparities persist after controlling for plausible non-racial explanations, then racial bias within the system is a plausible explanation for those disparities. P2, this is the minor premise. We got the major premise, this is the minor premise. The Veil of Darkness study finds that black drivers are stopped at higher rates during daylight than after dark while controlling for factors such as location, time of day, and traffic conditions. Conclusion, this is the therefore. We had the if-then statement. We had the minor premise. Now we have the therefore. Therefore, the Veil of Darkness study provides evidence that racial bias exists within the policing system, and racial bias within a system would be defined as systemic racism. So, Joe, I've not only defended my argument with a properly sound syllogism, but my argument provides evidence in the source of a peer-reviewed study. Now, Joe, unless you can provide a counter syllogism that relevantly defeats mine, All you're doing is chirping, bud. And I know, Joe, I get it. When you exist as a mediocre white man, your whole life, all you've had to do is chirp to get the things you need. But that won't work here. Unfortunately, you have to have some substance. And so far, you've had no substance, Jojo. No substance, Jojo boo-boo. So I'm going to unmute you. I would love to hear your syllogism. Otherwise, you go back into the void. Here comes the unmute in 3, 2, 1. There's the beep. Let's hear the syllogism.
I love your coat. Dude, just keep muting. I love your coat.
Oh, okay. Sure, no problem. I'll keep muting. What do you want to talk about today, chat? What's been going on, guys? Joe wanted to be muted, so I muted him. Literally called in to say the same disparity doesn't prove shit. Yeah, no, which is weird because I've relevantly showed through my syllogism how disparities do effectively prove systemic bias. But Joe's not all, guys, Joe's not smart. So it's like, you know, I forgot Joe's pronouns are she, her. Oh my gosh, I forgot, chat. My bad for misgendering you, Jojo. My bad, girly pop. Hey, we got a birthday for Floam. Floam, happy birthday. Here you go.
You could be a birthday baddie too. A very happy baddie birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Floam. For those who love the birthday song, shout out to my friend Frank. He wrote and produced that song for me, as well as my theme song. Shout out to my boy Frank. Miss him so much. He's back in New York. Miss that guy. We starred in the musical Ghost together. He played Patrick Swayze's part. I played Whoopi Goldberg's part. They made me shave my beard. Never happening again. Frank's voice sounds like SpongeBob in the SpongeBob musical. Is crazy. Absolutely crazy. That's a wild thing to say, but I'm going to tell him that. Hey, Mingledorf and a hydrate. I don't have any. I have a little bit of water. I'll take a drink. All right. Do we think Joe's going to be able to provide a syllogism for his point and provide an argument? Let's find out. Joe, you're unmuted again in 3, 2, 1. Unmuted. Provide the syllogism.
You're saying it does because it does doesn't mean it does.
Not a syllogism. Goodbye. Muted again. It's not a syllogism. I wanted P1, P2C. You could even add a P3 if your syllogism needs a P3. You could even add a P3 if you need be. Kind of embarrassing, honestly. Just truthfully embarrassing. Just truthfully. I will say what I said to Joe yesterday, and that is that disparities by themselves, of course, correlation wouldn't prove systemic racism. However, disparities that persist after ruling out competing explanations become evidence for racial bias. So should we do the syllogism again? One more time. If racial disparities persist after controlling for plausible non-racial explanations, then the racial bias within the system is a plausible explanation for those disparities. B2, the Veil of Darkness study finds that Black drivers are stopped at higher rates during daylight than after dark while controlling for factors such as location, time of day, and traffic conditions. C, therefore, the Veil of Darkness study provides evidence that racial bias exists within the policing system. Oh, I need an air horn sound effect. Wait, let's go get an air horn. Let's get an air horn. We definitely need to be performative and get an air horn sound effect, you know? Hey, that's great. Or should I do this one? Or this one? Which one sounds better? I like this one. I like this one. Let's add this one to the soundboard. All right, let's see if Joe has I doubt it. I mean, Joe has proven time and time again that he's like incapable of complex thought. I genuinely think he might be an amoeba. Like genuinely, he doesn't seem higher than a singular celled organism. But let's find out if Joe can actually provide a counter to my claim, my syllogism, or my study. Joe, you've been unmuted. Do you have a counter syllogism, yes or no?
Yeah, your disparity is not pretty shit.
Okay, muted because you don't have a counter syllogism. That's not a P1. You should start with this as my P1 and then provide the P1, and you didn't do that again. Oh boy. Golly. You really big into any anime? I'm rewatching Solo Leveling for some reason. I'm not even that big of a fan of Solo Leveling, but sometimes I just want a power fantasy anime, and it's probably the best of those. So I've been chilling, you know? Humans are classified as great apes, but Joe's very much a disappointing ape. Can you debate already? Yes, I've provided my syllogism, I've provided my argument, and Joe's response has been nah-uh. So I can't really debate somebody whose entire response is nah-uh. It's not really a debate there. So as soon as Joe can provide an argument, and I'm even asking him to do it in relevant argument structure, like to do it in a not relevant is probably not the word I would use, to do it in a simple argument structure, such as providing the syllogism, it would be super easy. It would be super easy. In fact, I'll do that, Jeff. I'll do that real quick. Joe, I'm going to unmute you. I want to know, which of my premises do you reject? So I've provided you 2 premises. Which one do you reject? Which one do you find contentious? And I would love to know. I provided you 2 premises. So I just want to know, do you find premise 1 or premise 2? Which one do you find, do you reject?
What part of the disparity does improve anything?
Yikes. That wasn't an answer to my question. Muted. I said, which premise do you reject? I have a feeling Joe's not listening. I have said this. How many times have I said this syllogism so far, chat? Damn, it's been quite a few. I have a feeling Joe's not listening. I have a feeling Joe is in his fifis right now and not listening. So I'll provide the syllogism one last time, and then I want an answer to which of my premises do you reject. Premise 1, if racial disparities persist after controlling for plausible non-racial explanations, then racial bias within the system is a plausible explanation for those disparities. P2, the Veil of Darkness study finds that Black drivers are stopped at higher rates during the daylight than after dark while controlling for factors such as location, time of day, and traffic conditions. P, our conclusion, therefore, the Veil of Darkness study provides evidence that racial bias exists within the policing system. This is your last chance, Joe. Last chance to tell me which of those premises do you reject? Unmuted. Let's hear it in 1 or 2. P1 or P2? Okay, well, that was embarrassing. See you, Joe. I genuinely hope you get the help you need. Therapy is not cheap, but it is worth it. All right. Back up in the game. If you'd like to call in and actually debate, 219-327-8005. I would love it if somebody could provide an argument. Caught up on the Joe stuff and Jesus? Yeah. I guess before I upload this video, I should go back and before I upload these last 2, I should put like a beginning video of like Joe being stupid. Do you prefer Joe Flake or J-Man? Well, J-Man's real stupid. 219-327-8005. I don't even typically like forcing people into syllogisms because like it feels very Phil bro. But like when you physically can't provide an argument, you have to, like, you just have to at that point because they're incapable of making an argument. So you have to take it to like classic argument structure. I should get Jeff to record a voiceover for previously on Jovan Bradley debates. I wish we could move on from questions like these. They are very boring to debate. It's just that conservatives can't fundamentally be argued with because they don't argue based on actual facts or science. They argue. Yeah, no, most of the time they're arguing from feelings. Yeah. Trust me, I know. I've been doing this a long time. Most of their arguments are Fifi based. One more skateboarder thing for Super Chat said he's been dubbed Joe Flake. Hilarious. Kyun Kun said flawed. Example P1, black people drive cooler cars. P2, drivers of cooler cars infringe traffic laws more. P3, harder to see model at night. C, car based. Damn. I don't know how I come back from that one. What happened to the P3 video that you debated was like your most viewed video? Are you talking about debate? I told his mom on him. Hey, Hentria, you're spoiling the Halloween stream. So stop. Don't spoil that. You're spoiling the Halloween stream. There is unfortunately a Jovan extended universe of opposition. Have you played any of the Soul series? Yeah, they're just not really my type of game. How are the calls today? We had Joe who apparently likes to get cum on his back. I don't know. Seems like he likes humiliation. And that's the most humiliating thing I can think of. Because, like, it's hard to clean, you know? Sorry. Holy shit, HVAC? Oh my God, K-Space HVAC, don't do that to me. I haven't heard that name in 10 years. Oh, what a piece of shit HVAC was. How do you like your hot dogs, Jovan? Fried. HVAC became a lib? I'll never believe it. I don't believe that's like fucking in Liv's Live, fucking real fake news. who everyone's like, oh, look how much he changed. And then this motherfucker does a live, like, bashing LGBTQ people. And I'm like, this is why you guys can't trust these fucking performative ass white people who say they changed and they don't actually. You know what I've started doing with my hot dogs though? I've started putting potato sticks under the hot dog on the bun. Slaps. Goes hard. Gives a nice little crunch. How do you fry a hot dog? By putting it on the stove top. I mean, I guess you could say you're grilling it, but like, yeah, you just fry it. You do cream cheese on your hot dogs? What? No. Yeah, potato sticks. You never seen potato sticks? Like the little potato sticks? These. Potato sticks. These. Put those under the hot dog on the bun. Peak. Peak. Absolutely peak. I've started doing that now. It goes so fucking hard. You don't need to cook potato sticks. They're already crispy. All right, we'll take one of the office hours calls. I didn't actually read what any of you were calling in about. I just read office hours and then scrolled. Limited here. I don't really want to talk about that, Elias. I'm gonna be so upfront with you, unless there's like something you can actually point to. Winnie, can you just pull Elias back into the queue and ask if there's something specific they disagreed with on the front? And then Faye, did you have a specific question? Or I can't, like, when you guys call for office hours, can you tell like a specific question or something that you have for me? Shanonymously, thank you for subscribing with Amazon Prime. KY Fried Jelly, thank you for gifting 5 subs to the Twitch chat. Spank you. One more skateboarder said, paying you to try cream cheese on your hot dog. No. I don't like cream cheese to begin with, so no. I'm gonna start with Fuzzy, and then if hopefully Winnie can then just see what the question is for the rest of you guys. Because I want to know like the specific question specifically. Fuzzy, you're up.
Hello.
You said you had one more question, right?
Yeah, final question, I think, for a while.
All right, no problem. What is it?
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, just reading chat. I'll stop doing that. I am a low support need on a spectrum, and a problem that I have is that I don't show when I'm struggling. How will people in a communistic society know to believe me when I say I can't do like I'm at my limit? Because that never works like in real life.
Well, it doesn't work. It doesn't work in capitalism, sure, but like you would just like we would just believe you.
Even by people who like genuinely care about me and want me to succeed, like not because of capitalism and structure.
Sure. Well, the answer is just that we would believe you, right? Unless it becomes like a repeated thing where it's clear you're like using it to get out of work, we would just believe you.
Like a problem I have is that like if so like a lot of people just don't believe me when I say like no, I'm at my limit, and then they see me like playing video games. Like no, this is how I recover. I need this.
Well, yeah, video games aren't like aren't like a exhaustive thing. Yeah, we would just believe you, man. Or there's really nothing else to that, you know. It was just, you're at your limit, then you're at your limit. Stop working. We don't want to push people too hard.
You promise? Okay.
Yes.
I guess
Yeah.
that's it. I guess it's that simple.
All right, no problem.
One thing I wanted to say, isn't it funny how Third is calling in and talking about smearing racial lines and like, dude, you're Third and talking about smearing lines. Stop.
Oh, crazy
dude.
times, Fuzzy. Crazy times.
Well, see ya for a while probably.
All right, you have a good one, friend.
Bye. See ya.
Blah 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 bow, shibby da bow, shibby dibby da bow, babadoo boo. Anybody else gonna actually call? Oh, by the way, Billy Sipes, thank you for the Venmo, Billy. I'm sorry I missed that like 15 minutes ago, but thank you, friend. Winnie, can you also just confirm what Faye's specific office hours question is for me? We're gonna bring up Elias. Elias does have an actual question, so we're gonna bring Elias up. Elias from California, you are on the show. Can I get your age and pronouns, friend? Elias, hello. Hello.
So sorry, I had you on mute to make sure I didn't have any background noise. My bad.
No worries.
I'm Stephen, and my birthday is tomorrow, but I'm 23 today.
Oh, happy early birthday.
Thank you so much.
All right, what's your question for me?
So yesterday you were talking to a guy with Jeff. His name was Jonathan, and he was asking about basically if there were like excess resources in a communist system, how they would be divided amongst people who were like requesting them for like, possible new ideas that they had. And you guys were kind of he was doing most of the talking, but from what I could understand, you were suggesting like a lottery system. And I was wondering why you felt that would be
I would do lottery system for like luxury goods, not for if it's for things to be used in like productive material for like innovations and stuff like that I wouldn't do on a lottery system. That I would do based upon who gives me the best like proposal for use of those goods.
Right, that's actually exactly what I was going to talk about. But even if it was like, luxury goods, like the examples you were talking about yesterday was like an Xbox and a PlayStation, right? So wouldn't you kind of also want to take into account like which one is kind of more blueprinted, more detailed in like the plans of, how it's built, distribution, like how much like manpower, because it's not like, monetary, right? And that at that point, right? So like how much labor it would require to fulfill that need? Would you like, so if it was like the Xbox and the PlayStation, would that be taken into account, or would it just be, in your opinion, like just the lottery system there?
Yeah, I mean the problem is when it comes to like when we're talking about luxury goods specifically, I would want it to be structured in a way where those luxury goods can't be commodified. And I just feel like a lottery system is the best way to do that. But I'm not like married to it. Like if somebody has a better idea, I'm fine with that. As long as the idea prevents the commodification.
I had less concern about the luxury goods and more about like innovative things for the community. Because like what I was telling Winnie on the screener was that like I feel like in that case it would be better to like what's more beneficial to the community. Like what would be more beneficial, a more beneficial way to use these goods for the community based on the ideas presented, like, you know, in the opinion of experts in that. But yeah, anyway, that was my only question.
All right, no problem.
I appreciate your time. You have a good day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Guys, 219-327-8005. That's the number. If you're trying to call in, that's the number for you on the screen. Guys, did you know capitalism was unethical? Did you know systemic racism never ended? Did you know Trump is lying about the 2020 election? Did you know gender affirming care saves lives? That includes for minors. In fact, I would go as far as to say minors deserve access to this treatment. Did you know trans men and women are men and women? Did you know Christianity is untrue? If you disagree with me on any of those topics, call in. By the way, to YouTube, y'all need more likes. 600 of you and only 367 likes. Where the likes at? Why are you watching without liking? So sad we're gonna have to change that to Trump lying about the 2026 election. Yeah, dude, I saw somebody's post where they were like, JD Vance is 48% most likely to win the 2028 election. I was like, fucking Christ, what are we doing here, dude? This is the calcification of fucking America. Ugh. All right, Faye, sick. Faye got a question. Faye from Tennessee. Faye, can I get your age pronouns, please?
40. I just turned 40 in June, and she, her.
All right, cool. All right, Faye, office hours question. What you got for me?
Okay, so the DOJ announced that they were going to go basically bypass the Olmstead versus LC ruling of the Supreme Court. And I don't know if you're familiar with that, but that basically says that disabled people, including like children, whoever is disabled, can stay in their communities instead of being institutionalized. And it's already happening in Tennessee. And I know that it's like they're building these institutions. And it's happening in some places in Mississippi. And I only know this because I'm in like conversations with people that are in the disabled community, and I just have not heard anyone debate that, talk about it, bring any awareness to it. I know that you don't necessarily debate that. I don't think you'd be uncomfortable doing it, but I didn't know if you knew on the line if there's somebody that specifically debates disabled topics or things like that, or if you thought obviously they will be able to do it because they are doing it. But, how are they able to just bypass the Supreme Court ruling like that?
So the problem is it has to be challenged. So if nobody's challenging it, you can violate the Supreme Court rulings all day because unless somebody challenges it, and then you can get a reversal. So unless a legal office or an individual, and right now, remember, the ruling on injunctions. So even that becomes hard. You need it would depend on how this is affected with the injunction ruling. If you would need a class action to take the Supreme Court or not. And even then it's like, it becomes an even bigger hassle. But yeah, it would just need somebody to challenge it. And then the courts can throw in a stop.
So like the ACLU, because they do a lot of, well, I will let people know. It's mainly because MAGA, it does not seem like they're aware of that. Like I talk to MAGA people in my community, people that have disabled children, and they could be taken from their homes and institutionalized, and that's what fascists do. And so it's just shocking to me, like that people, I know like there's so much going on. It seems like a freaking overload every day of news, but like these kinds of things seems like it should be a bigger deal. Like it should be covered more, and it's not. I mean, I only found out from small content,
Yeah,
creators are like,
I think it's tough because so much is always happening that like
mhm.
even the people that are covering stuff, it often gets buried because there's just a million things to cover.
Yeah, I mean, I follow Jessica Yellen. I don't know if you know who she is, but she's on
I don't.
Instagram and she does News Not Noise, and she covers it, and she covers a lot of things. And Aaron Parnas, of course, but yeah. And I just wanted to say, like, I think it's really kind of funny that someone would call you performative, you being a black activist, communist content creator in our
Listen,
community.
I have lights. There's lights in my background. That's performative,
So like to me it was funny. It was like, oh, the black man's performative, that's great. That's cool, The one that I learned the most from and got me involved, like my teacher locally, like the leader of my group a socialist is as a black person because of you, because I feel like that's more important to learn from black people about these things than white people, because white people are hella performative, like white leftist savior complexes. Like we really need to stop, and the purity testing needs to get under control.
You heard it
And
here
realize
first, everybody. Jimmy Snow is performative.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Uh,
Jimmy can go fuck himself, right? So
True. Hashtag go fuck yourself, Jimmy Snow, in the chat. But yeah, I don't know if anyone in the line speaks specifically about disabled rights or things like that.
Mhm.
Because the line is genuinely more focused on at least the content on the line is more focused on atheism. So I don't know if like Lux or anybody handles any of that in their like personal content.
Okay.
I would just have to actually go and like look at people's personal content.
Okay, because I didn't know if you even could recommend, which I know you can't, like right now, I'm in your Discord. So, like, if you find something, like a good person that you trust, because I don't want to fall, like, Dean and, like, I know I heard you talking about them earlier. I think they're not great. That's my personal opinion. But I feel like they're, yeah.
Yeah,
But they
if
say
I end up
things.
finding somebody, I can like drop some recommendations in the Discord or others. If any of you guys have any recommendations for like disabled content creators who talk about disabled rights and visibility, feel free to drop them in the Discord
Yeah.
in the
I
Gen
think,
chat. I'm sure that would
I
help a
mean,
lot
you
of people.
would. Yes, thank you. And it's kind of like when people call you to debate like systemic racism. I mean, you would think people wouldn't be comfortable debating like our humanity either, but I'm sure they would be. Like I think they, I would hope not, but like I mean,
Yeah.
systemic racism is crazy, and people will sit there and just, I mean, it's right there. I mean, I'm blonde and I can see it. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. But yeah, Faye, I hope that answered your questions.
Thank you. It really did, and it was really helpful. And I appreciate you, Joanne, always. And I thank you for introducing me to socialism and communism, because I was just a typical white liberal girl, and you really educated me and, got me on the full train. I mean, I was always Medicare for all, but, you got me. You got me in the club, man.
Welcome to communism. We love it.
So thank you always, and we all appreciate what you do and the labor you put in.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks so much for coming up, Faye.
All right, thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. All right, 219-327-8005 if you want to debate. Call that number, 219-327-8005. Would love, love. Would love, 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 love. Would love, 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 love. Would love, 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 love. A call. There is a web caller. We ask that you use the web caller if you're out of country. But if you're in the country, don't use the web caller. Anyway, one more skateboarder, thank you for the super chat, said, is the far right trading empathy for gullibility? I don't know. Potentially. Who trying to get they debate on right now, dog? Can we get some crazies call? Maybe. Like the live. 600 of you in here and only 400 likes. Come on now. Thoughts on the Avatar new movie? I don't know. I haven't watched it. I'll have thoughts on it when I watch it. Yeah, there's a lot of cowards in the chat who don't want to call in to actually like discuss their views. That tends to happen. Just a reminder for upcoming Jovan appearances, I will be at the Socialism Conference this year in September. I'm not speaking there, but I will be there doing some content, getting some interviews with people. I may be speaking in Sacramento in October. So that may happen. If you're ever like, oh, we want Jovan to speak at certain places, go ask. Go ask those places to hire me to speak. My appearance fee is super low. When are you coming to Washington? I don't know. Ask me how low my appearance fee is. Ask me what it is. It's nothing. It's $0. I just like to speak. Yeah, no, $1 billion, true. No, usually it's just depending on how far away. I usually just ask people to, you know, just like to help cover travel and lodging. But other than that, I don't charge people to let me call to like, you know. We got some call screening right now. But it looks like they're mostly office hours. Want to do a speech at my wedding in Oregon? Not really. Wait, what food are you serving? If I were to ever get married, which is never happening, but if I ever was, I would want a pancake bar at my wedding. Javon, what are your hobbies besides gaming? Hobbies? Javon's a tree, you don't like Cyberpunk? Correct. I don't know that I have hobbies. Hobbies. Good question. Yeah, I have to film the next video. And the editing that one might be a bitch, so I might need to hire an editor for that one, but I have to film the next video. Javon does audiobooks because he's a Chad. It just depends on the book. I tend to drive a lot, so like audiobooks are just easier for me because I'm driving. Oh. Thanks, I didn't notice that. Javon played 5 minutes of Cyberpunk. He said he didn't like it. Nah, I put like an hour into it. And it just wasn't my type of thing. I think if Cyberpunk had third-person view, I would have liked it more. I don't think cars should be abolished, but I do think all cities should be walkable. And you should be able to access all utilities by walking. You should be able to. You don't have to, but you should be able to. Joe is Riku too. That's funny. Guys, all office hours calls today. What's hilarious watching Joe cry in chat is to say the disparity argument failed when he couldn't tell me which of the premises he disagreed with. And then he couldn't relevantly show which premise he disagreed with and why. That's kind of embarrassing. This is probably the benefit of providing the syllogism, because you can't just say the argument fails. You have to like actually substantiate it. Yeah, Joe's still crying. Of course he's crying, guys. What do you mean? Of course. Why have I been so focused on the capitalism debates recently? Because there can be no liberation under a capitalist system. So that's why. You should sell maggot tears, mugs, and water bottles. Meh. Although the new merch, the August drop should be ready soon to preview, and then people can pre-order. I think I can do pre-orders. They can pre-order the August drop, which should be fun. It's essentially going to be one design dropped every month, so people don't need to go crazy on like merch. But we're essentially going to drop a design every month, and so the August one I'm actually very excited for. I gotta ask Grace on a update time wise of that, but it should be ready to go for August. So you'll be able to get the design in like stickers, sweatshirt, t-shirt, you know, whatever you want to get the design on. We don't really care about your alts, Joe. You couldn't provide an argument. I think Joe is in the middle of a dissociative episode, and that might be what's happening. I was like, why am I getting a headache? And then I'm realizing it's almost 1 p.m. and I haven't had lunch yet. Or really had much to drink, like water-wise. I should probably get some water. Be right back. Did I say I hadn't eaten lunch yet? I haven't eaten anything yet. I don't remember what I said. Yeah, I think Joe's big issue in the chat is he didn't think that I had information. So when I provided the information in an argument, he wasn't a big fan of being provided with information in an argument. I gave him plenty of chances to provide a counter argument. But unfortunately, you're wrong is not a counter argument. Syllogism would have been a proper counter argument. Also, if you want to support the show, Cash App and Venmo are on screen. I am actually furnishing my bedroom. My bedroom has like one thing in it, and it's my bed. And I'm furnishing it with actual, like I'm trying to actually like have an adult home. Fun fact, other than this, like no other room in my house is decorated. Because I'm just not that kind of, I think there's something in there about like, me never feeling fully at home in a place, and so I don't ever decorate. But my walls are all white with nothing on them. So I'm trying to actually decorate. I'm going to IKEA after this to get some stuff. But if you're like, Jovan, I want you to decorate your home. Hey, Cash App and Venmo are in bio. I already ordered my new bed. I need to get side tables and potentially a dwesa. What kind of, like, I don't know. I guess Ma was right when she said Maggie just ain't got the gumption. That's funny. Hey, Be It, thank you so much for the Venmo. I want you to decorate your adult home. I'm trying. But again, this is it. The only room that has anything is this room and my child's room. But other than that, it is a fairly empty house. I did see that, Taylor. I did see, I'm telling you, her husband Crokin is going to change her potentially. I don't think it's me being a stereotypical male. I think it's the autism. I'll be so honest with you. Thoughts on the SAVE Act? It's so stupid. And it's unconstitutional, the way it's written. I've said it once and I'll say it again. I don't think voter ID is a terrible idea. I don't think voter ID is necessarily wrong. I think violating the, what is it, the 14th Amendment? Is that the one? No. It's the poll tax one. That's what my issue is. So if the Republicans were like, hey, this is our proposal for voter ID, everyone, the second they turn 18, they get a free ID in the mail that votes. Then dope. The SAVE Act doesn't do that. The SAVE Act implements a poll tax, and that's unconstitutional. Fen, thank you for the cash up. Live in a beige house. My house isn't beige, it's white. 24th Amendment. Thank you, chat. Yeah, I'm sorry. To the 2 office hours calls, I just genuinely, you're going to be waiting a little bit. I genuinely want to see if we can't get some other debate calls while we're waiting. Also, on that front, if you work a W-2 job, your taxes should be automatic. The government knows. You can add a stipulation for people that want to deduct more, but your standard deductions should be done for you automatically. Don't even get me started on taxes. Don't even get me started. I owe the government so much money. Yeah, but voter ID wouldn't, there's nothing saying voter ID would track who you vote for. Like, if we're gonna say we just don't want the government to know who we're voting for and like record that, they already can. Like the government has your voter records. Mira, thank you for the Venmo. That's crazy. As a T slur, F slur, here's a tip for dealing with the poor white person last night thinking he could tell y'all not to say vinegar. That's crazy. Liz, thank you for the Venmo to make those white walls a slave to your decor. I only read half of that before it kicked off, like before it turned my thing off, so I was like so confused. I was like, huh? Yeah, I've picked out a painting for my room. It's like a Japanese oil painting that I think is gonna go with my new vibe. Colors, I'm going like olive green, like dark olive in my room. Would be a topic you'd love to have on the board one day once you feel like you've researched enough and have a solid argument for. Curious if you have any of those. good question. I'm not sure. Ever seen a grown-ass man make multiple accounts to cry on a stream repeatedly? Well, yeah. I think he wants to date me. Green is not a creative color. Why are you such a weeb, Jovan? I don't know. Because the anime go hard. Will you ever see a VTuber, Jovan? Low key, I want to create a VTuber persona for when I don't want to be on camera. Potentially. Who can make me a VTuber of me just sitting at a desk? Taylor, I didn't even know you're fucking pregnant. Congratulations. Name your child Jovan. What do I have to do to earn naming rights? I saw the other day that apparently there's a subreddit for me that's not, like, nobody uses, but I thought that was funny. Sponsorship deals sell the kids naming rights. True. Has MAGA given up? No, they're embarrassed. Thought it wasn't a baby until it was born. Who said that? Thinking Apollo or Atlas? Don't ask me if I like the name of your. Don't ask me. I don't want to. I would go with something else, personally. Yeah, I would love just a VTuber model that's like of me. Actually, I just asked Grace to draw for me. I can have him to do a PNG tuber pretty easily, but a VTuber model that's just me sitting at a desk, so when I don't feel like being on camera, I can debate on the VTuber model. Do you know why I wouldn't go with Atlas personally? Because like it's the bad guy in Bioshock. So like, you know. I associate Apollo with black people, but that might be because of Rocky. Rocky! I miss the blue guy in your debate videos. Yeah, it's just too much to also run that while do like it's too many computer resources at that point. I don't think you guys realize how much shit is running on my computer at one time. All right, we got a call. I'm going to take it in a second. An actual debate. No, it's not Joe. Oh, I'm getting tired. Wait, did the stove preheat? I don't know. All right, coming up to stream is Terrence from Georgia to talk about topic number 1, capitalism being unethical. Terrence, if you can hear me, please provide me with your age and pronouns.
Man, him.
He, him, and then what was your age? All right, you're hard to hear, Terrence. Can you stand? I don't know if you're standing far away from your phone, but it's a little tough to hear you.
Pause in. Let me try sitting down. If it still doesn't work, then I'll just take them out. One second. Am I any better now?
Yeah, it's better now. It's a lot better now. All right, Terrence, I believe capitalism is unethical. Do you disagree? And if so, why?
Well, I do disagree. Not
Oh, it just got hard to hear you again.
Give me 1 second.
Yeah, it's so much better without him.
All right, hello?
Yep.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I don't completely disagree because pure capitalism ultimately leads to slavery. So I would never say pure capitalism is the way. But I would largely disagree because I think it's the best form that we have. Both of those systems ultimately lead to slavery, so you truly need a mix of both.
Why do you believe
general,
that like a socialist system would lead to slavery?
Well, the purest definition of it is the government controlling the means of production.
No.
Or it is. Capitalism is a means of production being owned by the person. Socialism is a means of production being owned by the government.
No. Capitalism is the means of production being privately owned. Socialism is the abolition of private ownership. So it would just be that everything would be collectively owned, not owned specifically by a governing body, but it would be collectively owned by everybody.
But how would that work, though? If it's collectively owned by everybody, you have to have a governing body, which would be government.
Yes, but the government doesn't own the thing. Everybody owns the thing.
I think that sounds more like a distinction without a difference.
No, there's a pretty big difference. Like the government.
Yes.
So if I were to say the government owns the thing, I would say, oh, the people in government are the people who are the owners. But no, it's that everybody owns. There just may be a governing body that they use to dictate the movement of these goods. But and like even then it would depend on like what structure you're looking at. But everybody who lives in this society would own the means of production. So if there's like a lake, the government can't say, well, certain people can use the lake and certain can't, right? The lake would be collectively owned by everybody, so everybody has rights to the water in the lake, and vice versa.
Mm-hmm. Sure. I mean, personally, I don't like that. Not for everything. There are some things that should be owned collectively that just make sense. But ultimately, I think I should be able to own things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, personal property would still exist. It's just private property that wouldn't.
You say that again?
Personal property would still exist. It's just private property wouldn't.
But that doesn't make sense. Personal property is private property.
No, private property is specifically the means of production. Personal property are things that you own that you use in your personal life.
Those are the same thing. If I own a tractor that I use to farm, those are the same things. Personal property and private property are the same thing.
No, if you own a tractor that you use to farm a plot of land that produces just enough food for you to eat, you or your family, that's your own personal tractor. But if your tractor is now used in the production of, like, say, mass farming, then that would become private property because it's used in the production of a good or service.
But see, so at what point does the government say, all right, we all collectively own this versus you can own this by yourself? It seems like it's just a percentage point of how many people it affects. So it's like maybe the governing body says, okay, you can own 1 acre of land, but you can't own 10 acres of land. It's like, it's the same thing, but I think you put your own.
Well, you would never own the
50.
land. You can own your home that sits on the land, but the land can't be owned.
But that's the same thing. My home sits on land, so I own land.
No, you own the home on top
Even
of the
so,
land.
say I have
You don't
a
own the
quarter
land
acre.
itself.
But how does that work? But then that's still like, that means that a governing body can come in and tell me whatever to do with the house if they own the land and my house.
No, it
sits on
just
the land,
means,
that
like,
means they
let's
own the
say
house.
you're digging and you find oil. You can't now make claim to that oil. That oil would belong to everybody because it would be something beneficial for the community.
So
or you
I don't
find,
have
like,
land
a
rights, I can
deposit of
only own
rent.
the house.
Yeah, you can own your home, but you wouldn't have rights to the land and the resources on that land.
So then that means at some point, if I were to find oil, the governing body can say, all right, you got to get out of here because we need this oil. You got to get a new house. So that means ultimately I don't own my house.
You might potentially be given a new house because they'll be like, hey, it would just be easier for us to not have somebody living on this land while we, like, grab this resource. But if you're like, hey, I don't want to leave the house, then we're gonna be like, well, then we're just gonna we're gonna still mine this resource. It might be annoying for you to live here while there's active mining going on, but it's not like they wouldn't give you a new house. They'd be like, hey, yeah, here's a new
domain.
Here's a new house.
That sounds like eminent domain.
We have eminent domain now.
I mean, because this is, yeah, exactly, and people don't like it. You know what I mean? So
yes,
but that's the same thing.
But your options would be stay in your
house.
Wait. Again, your options would be stay in this house and put up with mining and drilling, or be given a free new home. If you don't want to move, don't move. It might be annoying.
That sounds good. What do you mean? That sounds horrible. Well, this is my childhood home. I love this house. I've grown attached to it. I grew up here. Now the government says, for the betterment of society, you can't live here anymore.
Yes, if everybody agrees that it's going to make society better, you refusing to move means you are a selfish person. So, like, I don't know what to tell you.
That doesn't, no, because who determines it makes society better? Say a developer
Everybody
says, hey,
would.
we need to build these apartments.
There are no developers.
Society better. Who's everybody?
There's no developers.
Who's everybody? There's no way that everybody.
If the community needs
everybody
a resource, if the community needs a resource, and what would help get that resource is you moving to a free new home, and you say, I'm not going to move because I don't care that the community gets this resource that they need, you're the jerk in that situation. Not the people going, would you please move so we can access this resource that people need? Like, what if it found out that your house sat on top of a wait, what would happen? What would happen? There's no reason to put a data center on your house. There's plenty of unoccupied land. What would you say? Like, I understand, like, you're trying to, but if we're gonna make arguments about these situations, we need to keep these situations baked into reality. There's no reason your home would need to be removed. No, it isn't. I don't know why I'm being talked over. There's no, right now under capitalism, it's beneficial to take people's homes to build stuff on, but there's plenty of unoccupied land that we wouldn't need to do that on. The reason that it's not done in a lot of instances is it's cheaper to just buy up homes and use land that's already been developed than it is to develop new land. So people will do it that way, as opposed to developing new land, which we can do. There's no reason why the community would need to say, leave your home so we can put a data center here. Now, let's say they find, like, a fresh water source under your home. And it's like, oh, under your home is enough fresh water that for us in the community to be able to drink for 50 years. Right? And you go, and it's replenishing. It's a freshwater source that replenishes through the rain and through all that. So it's not even 50 years. Just, this is a viable freshwater source. And the community goes, hey, this fresh water source is needed. We're running out of water. We need this fresh water source under your house. And you go, well, I don't care. I'm not moving. You are indeed the asshole here. You are the jerk. You're not interested in living in a society in which we all communally give to each other. You're just interested in me. And I don't really want people who are interested in me in my society. I would rather they just go somewhere else. You can have an island where you can have all the private property you want on your singular island. But if you're not actually interested in helping the community, then what's the point of you being there?
What if I don't like the community? What if I don't like the community?
Then leave. Why are you there? Then leave.
But that's the thing. I have to leave my house because the community.
You don't have to, but if you are going to be a dick to the community is not going to provide for you. Do you think you're just giving and giving with nothing?
But see, here's the thing, though.
Then don't.
With
wait,
capitalism,
but that's
I don't
the
need the
thing.
community to provide for me.
Yeah, Terrence,
I can provide for myself.
Yes, you
Say
do.
I have something.
No, yes, you
likes.
do actually need the community to provide for you in capitalism. Almost everything you access,
these are
you're able
hypotheticals.
to access because the community is providing a service in one way or another, typically by the government. The government. Do you know how much? Like, there are massive things that the government just provides to you that they take a loss on because it's just a service that's given. And you accept those all day, all night. But now when it comes to communism, when the community as a whole is going, hey, we want to make sure everyone in this community eats, drinks, has health care, has access to education, and has a home. And you're going, well, I don't care. I don't want to help you guys. Then don't be a part of the community.
No,
but don't come crying when there's something you need that the community is not accessing.
It should be a mixture of the two.
Your original point was that my system leads to slavery, and when I disproved that, we moved to this.
No, you're right. That's communism that does that, not socialism. But
even communism doesn't lead to slavery. No, it doesn't.
Everybody says, "Hey, we need you to grow potatoes for the community." What if I don't want to grow potatoes? We're making you grow potatoes.
Then you would do a different job.
That's how it can work.
Jobs would be voluntary. Nobody is saying that you would be. Nobody's saying you can't. Jobs would be voluntary. You choose the job of the jobs available. You choose the one. It's not wishful thinking.
That sounds like
I don't know why people, in order to combat communism, make up things.
That's not.
Can you show me? Can you show me where in communist theory it says that you're going to be forced to do a job?
Listen to me. What if the list of jobs available I don't want to do? What if they say, you know what? We need you guys to be laborers. You can choose any type of labor you want. What if I don't want to do labor? I don't have a choice. So your thing is, I don't want to live in communism because I'm selfish, and I wouldn't help the community by doing a job that the community needs. 100%.
Then get out.
Listen, that's human.
Then goodbye.
That's human reality.
Then leave. You know what? I'm gonna make it known right here. I try to avoid saying this, but fuck it, I'm gonna say it. If we are sitting here constructing a society in which people's needs are finally going to be met, and we no longer have people that are starving, that are dying from lack of health care, that are dying from exposure to the elements because they don't have proper housing, that are being uneducated, we finally have all of these things, and somebody's like, well, I just want to be selfish and do me. Then I'm building you a boat and you're sailing out into the middle of the ocean and living on it. I don't care. I'm going to exile you. Just straight up.
But see, that's wrong. That's wrong.
I disagree. I think what's more wrong is you saying I'm not going to help provide for everybody.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying
is exactly what you just said.
That is not what I'm saying.
Exactly. You're not forced to. Wait, you have an option here. You can either help everybody or you can leave. That's an option.
Exactly. That's not an option at all.
It is an option.
That's like saying, listen, you can have your right arm cut off or your left arm cut off. That's not an option.
Nobody's cutting off your arm.
That sounds like a horrible.
Your body is still in completely good shape.
And again,
I'm saying you can't live in this society.
What's best for the community?
The community determines what's best for the community.
Who is the community? What if I'm a minority in the community?
Then you're a minority in the community.
What if I'm a minority in the community?
Voting doesn't always get you your way.
That's my best interest.
It's not how democracy works. You don't always get your way.
That's called segregation.
No, it's not.
Segregation. That's what leads to racism.
Who did you vote for? That's so stupid. Oh, sorry, I'm going to mute you. That's so stupid, Terrence. That's so stupid. That was actively dumb. Actively dumb. actively, that was just stupid. Unfortunately, my big issue is that people want to get all the benefits that the community offers, but don't want to participate in the community. So don't. Go homestead, build a house in the middle of the woods that's all you, but don't come and ask the community for anything. If you do not contribute in some way, shape, or form, you do not get access to the things the community produces. So no, you're not going to come to our schools. You're not going to go to our hospitals. You're not going to drive on our roads. You're not going to eat our food. You're not going to have access to the water that we produce, that we filter and filtrate. But if you want to go homestead and do all of your own stuff, go do it. But it's completely unethical to say I should be allowed access to this while offering nothing in return. And it's just completely unfounded to believe that that should be the case. Now I'll unmute you, but my stance is pretty firm here. If you don't want access to what the community offers, if you then go homestead and live in your own place away from the community. You don't get the benefits of society without engaging in society. Now you're unmuted.
Am I still muted?
You were.
That was cowardly. I don't respect that at all. That
I
was
don't care
cowardly,
if you
man.
don't respect it.
So
If you
anyway,
don't stop talking when I'm
That's
talking,
fine.
as the host of the show,
You
I'm
keep
going to
cutting me
mute
off.
you. I'm sorry, is your name on the title of this show? Is this the Terrence Show? No. So if I
Alright,
ask
whatever.
you to
It
stop
was cowardly,
talking because
whatever.
I have to
You're free
say
to take an hour.
something, I'm going to mute you again. If I'm telling you to stop talking because I'm trying to say something, you stop talking. Otherwise, you get muted. Super simple. God damn, it's so easy. It's also a bit cowardly to talk over somebody. So now I'll unmute you. Now you can respond to my
Alright,
point.
so anyway, with your situations. Okay, cool. So let's say I say, you know what, fuck all you guys, I am gonna go homestead. I don't need your schools,
Right.
I don't need your food, I don't need your water, I don't need any of that. I'm gonna go be in the woods by myself with my family.
Beautiful, go
According
do
to
it.
you, if the community finds a resource on my homestead, I now have to leave because you have determined that is best for your community.
Keep your homestead. We won't go anywhere near it. Keep your fucking homestead, dog.
But how do I know that?
Keep
How do
your
I know that?
homestead. You're gonna have to just trust.
How do I know that though? No, I can't.
We want
trust you.
nothing to
The same
do.
people
We
that
want
kicked me out of
nothing.
my home.
We want nothing to do with you. Keep your homestead. We want literally nothing to do with you in the community.
No,
No one's gonna bother
that
you.
logic doesn't follow, bro.
Enjoy your homestead.
That logic doesn't.
Enjoy separating your kids from all people. Enjoy it. Have fun.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I'm
That's
instead
fine.
gonna do? Make sure that people eat. Make sure
Right.
nobody dies because they can't afford healthcare. Make sure people have homes. Make sure people have fresh water. That's what I'm worried about. I'm not worried about your individual needs. Or I'm sorry, I'm not worried about your individual wants. Your individual wants mean nothing
No, you
to
said
me.
it right.
No,
You
your
said it
needs
right,
are
and that's
everybody's
horrible.
needs are
That sounds
important. Your wants don't mean shit to me.
That's
So
horrible. Okay, well, see,
live in your
all right, so let's take that.
your own bubble, and just you won't have access to what the community
Mhm.
produces.
Okay, cool, no problem. So let's take that then. You said your wants don't mean anything to me. Your needs are all
Correct.
that matter. What if the governing body says all you need is chicken and potatoes? You need fucking
That would be
burlap sacks for clothes, and all
again.
you need is these type of shoes.
Can I have honest interlocutors for a second? What the fuck are you talking about? What?
What do you mean?
If
What am I talking about?
What if the people decide that all the people want to eat is chicken and potatoes? Then the people will have decided this. I've explained to you what the government is. It's the collective. The government's not making a decision
Mhm.
separate of the collective, which means the majority of people would have to decide that all they want to do
Mhm.
is raise chicken and cook potatoes. And if the majority of people decide
Yes.
this, then that's what they want. That's what they are. So what am I going to do? I'm going to say, no, I'm sorry that most people want to eat this. No, we shouldn't do this as a society. This is so dumb, Terrence.
It's not dumb at all. That
It
sounds like a
really
horrible
is
existence.
dumb.
That sounds
We
like a horrible
already
existence.
live in
It's not dumb at
democracy.
all.
Wait, I'm sorry.
That's
What should we
not
have?
dumb
We already
at
have.
all.
Wait. So you agree democracy is stupid. So what should we shape our government now to be? What should
I
we have
didn't say
instead?
that. I didn't
This
say
is
that.
this
I
is a
didn't say that.
democracy. If the majority of people voted,
I didn't say democracy.
that's a
was stupid.
democracy. The majority of people deciding
No,
something is a
no.
democracy. Yeah. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. If the
Yes, you are.
government is
Yes,
to
you are.
decide, I'm going to mute you. I don't know what the fucking over talking shit is right now. If the government is deciding things, And the government, as I've laid out, is the community at large. That means things are being decided by the majority vote, which is democracy. You're saying we shouldn't have this. So what should we have instead? An oligarchy? Should we go back to feudalism? What should we have instead? You already are beholden to the majority. Already in your life now. But you're saying, yeah, but I wouldn't want to be beholden to this majority. So it's not an issue with the structure. Your issue is you're selfish, and they would force you to not be selfish. That's what your issue is. So what system would you rather have other than democracy? Now you're unmuted. I want to know what system we should have instead.
So I never said get rid of democracy. I just said that under socialism,
Then you should have
don't
no.
have any
You should have
control
no
over
issue.
the individual wants.
That's
No, I do
incorrect.
have an issue. That's
Incorrect.
how you said, I don't give a fuck
Incorrect.
about your wants. I only care about your
Incorrect.
needs.
If the government
what you
decided
said.
tomorrow,
No,
if the
that's what
government
you said.
decided tomorrow in our current system, the government decided we're going to ban sodas, right? We don't like sodas. The majority of people in America have spoken. We're going to place a ban on carbonated beverages. Do you get to decide if you want sodas?
I can still make sodas, yes. It would be illegal, but yeah. I still
Why would it be illegal? It's not illegal for the government to place a ban on substances. There's no constitutional fucking right that they're violating.
I didn't fucking say that. How about you try listening to
You
what I'm
just
saying?
said it would be illegal.
No, I said if the sodas are banned, the sodas would be illegal. That's what I said. Try
Then
listening.
wait. But if you want soda, does your want matter in this instance?
My want is always going to matter because that is my temperament. I don't give a fuck what the majority says.
That was stupid as shit. Goodbye. That was dumb. That was absolutely stupid. I swear to God, capitalists are so fucking brain dead. Like, god damn. It's the same system logically. You just don't like it in this case, which is so stupid. I'm okay with the system in capitalism, but I'm not okay with the system in communism. Even though in communism, that system wouldn't lead to people dying because they can't eat. Again, I don't give a fuck about people's fucking wants, bro. Fuck your wants. I'll care about a person's wants when people stop fucking dying. Then I'll give a fuck about wants. Does the collective agree to a Bill of Rights? Probably. There would be some form of like formalized document that lays out like the rights that you have as a person. We've done it here. Alcohol was banned for forever. No, dead ass. Such a waste of time. Where the fuck did that fly come from? It's coming from the fucking garage, dude. They just fucking fly in when I open my garage. Like, the thing that I hate the most in these calls is when people describe a flaw of communism that's just a flaw that currently exists in capitalism. They're like, well, we can't move to communism because of this flaw, even though this flaw already exists. What do I do if I'm outvoted? Same thing you do now. You suck it up. But also they just make up rules. Like, well, what if the society says I have to do this work? What? There will be a list of duties necessary, and you choose from that list. Guess what? That's how it works now. There's a list of jobs available, and you choose from the jobs that are available. It's quite literally how it works. They have this idea that like most jobs are going to go away, which is just like untrue. Quite literally, it already works to be the case that there's a list of jobs available, and you do the job you choose from that list of jobs. Now, right now, you'd have like it works in that you only choose from jobs you're qualified for, which it would be the same thing. We're not going to have people who are unqualified at something work something, and some people may not be working; they may be doing education stuff because they're not qualified for a job yet, and they're like, "But I really want to learn how to do this." I'm like, "Okay, well, you can go down an education path instead." God, I hate the no famine in capitalism talking. When somebody's like, well, there's famines in communism. Motherfucker, there are famines in capitalism. What the fuck are you talking about? Most famines are environmental. But they won't count all of the people globally that are food insecure as like faults of capitalism. They don't count that because that would be against the capitalist narrative. Somewhat going towards Christianity. Could you explain why it's wrong? Call in. I also like how somebody was like, look at how much more those countries are food secure than before. But like, it's pretty well known that most of Africa is less food secure now than prior to colonialization. Like, like that's just sort of a thing. If you want evidence for that claim, by the way, oh my God, it's almost like I read these things. How Europe underdeveloped Africa. Vavoom. Good book. I'm a nurse. If we go communist, I'm never taking care of a patient again and emigrating, or will die trying. Well, then you're like, okay, be a piece of shit if you want to be a piece of shit. There are plenty of people who would be a nurse now or a doctor, but can't because they can't access education. They will take over for you. Goodbye. We don't need you. Yeah, actually, Jaron, the thing I use most to debunk the Bible specifically is the flood. I think the flood is like the best way to just like like dunk on the Bible. That will take years of training and infrastructure you don't have. It won't. This is your ID. You think that every nurse is gonna leave. That's stupid. Most people who get into these jobs don't do them because they want to earn a profit. They do them because they want to help people. And anybody who's in the medical industry because they want to earn money should not be in the medical industry. Full stop. Get out of that industry. Yeah, tons of paramedics could take over. No, I think the flood's the easier one versus the rest of the creation, like the rest of Exodus, or not Exodus, the rest of Genesis, because the flood specifically, we have a time frame of it. We not only have a time frame of the flood, but the Bible's specific in telling us how many people survived it, which is like so easy to debunk. It's not even funny. Hey man, wouldn't you like to be able to do your job without worrying about where your next fucking meal is coming from? No. I want to stay in a system where I can potentially starve if I lose my job. I want to stay in a system where most people in the country, 65% of them can't afford a $400 emergency bill. I want to stay in a system in which there are kids who are struggling to eat. I want to stay in a system that charges me for water, something that falls free from the sky. I want this. So fucking crazy. Not anymore. Every state allows collection of rainwater now, but there are limits. You can only have tanks up to a certain amount. But as far as I'm aware, there is no state that criminalizes rainwater collection anymore. Optopoppet said these are the same capitalists that think the Star Trek society is cool and would be nice to have without the media literacy to realize it's just communism. Yeah. Oh my God. Can we get a different conversation than the communism one? Is it possible? Why do people only ever call in on topic number 1? I did see, I binged all 10 episodes of The New King of the Hill in a day, and it was phenomenal. Might be one of the best seasons of that show, which is crazy to think. Mike Judge nails it when he does continuation. Like, so good. Well, Elthris, I don't believe Jesus existed, so yeah, I think I gotta just change the topic order. Yeah, New King of the Hill episodes came out on Monday. Oh, I gotta go put my lunch in the stove. Be right back. You know what it is? I just realized why the Terrence call pissed me off so much. Because it just ended up being communism is worse because it doesn't allow me to be selfish. That's what that call boiled down to. And that pisses me off. Billy, thank you for the super chat, thank you for the Venmo. Said, I still wonder how the Federation citizens on DS9 bought shit since the Federation doesn't have currency and Quark clearly charges. Good to hear the new KOTH season is good. I plan on watching it later. No, it's very good. Do you find the idea of religions in general harmful to society? Yeah, I just find the idea of belief in a deity to be somewhat harmful because it just convinces you to not critically think. You know? All right, we'll take this next call. Oh shit, let me put a timer for my to this next call. You're gonna have until my timer for my pizza goes off, and then at that point I'm gonna go get my lunch. Connor from Texas, you are on the line. Connor, did you move?
Huh?
Did you move?
Yeah, I actually did.
Okay. Connor, age and pronouns, please.
I'm 19 years old, and he, him.
All right. And you're calling about topic number 1. I believe capitalism is unethical. Do you disagree? And if so, why?
Well, I don't think there's like a better, unless you can convince me, I don't think there's a better way to do it. And I think right now there's a lot of unethical things going on in our capitalist country, but that's because we don't have the proper regulations under capitalism that we need.
Capitalism
Like,
just
I know
on
you
its
talked about-
face is unethical. Like the ability to assert control over productive resources creates a system that is unethical.
Okay. Can you show me how?
Yeah, I'll give you I'll even make it super easy for you because I got a syllogism for it. Let me pull it up in my notes. Super simple. Let's just see if you agree with some of these premises that I'm gonna lay out to you. The fuck is it? Okay, here we go. Do you agree that it's unethical for one person to have arbitrary power over another person's ability to meet their basic needs? So, like, would it be unethical for one person to be like, no, you can't have water?
I mean, yeah.
Great.
Like, if there's no choice for them to be able to have water, like, no matter what, then
Great.
that's
Do you
completely unethical.
agree that private ownership of productive resources gives owners the authority to decide who may access those resources that are necessary for survival? This would include housing, workplaces, access to farmland, factories, etc., etc.
Sorry, could you rephrase that? I'm not really
Yeah.
understanding
People
that
being
well.
allowed to privately own productive resources, so this would be capitalists owning the means of production, them having that ability gives them the authority to decide who gets to access the resources that they own.
So if someone owns, like, let's say someone's a landlord, you're saying, oh, they shouldn't be able to, like,
No.
rent it out
Just
to
do
people
they
'cause
have a
they're
landlord, for instance, do they have the authority to decide who accesses that home.
Yeah, but at the same time, the person
Okay.
has the
Hold
conscious
on.
choice to be able
Hold
to
on.
decide to
Hold on.
act on it or not.
Hold on.
Okay.
You've agreed to P1, you've agreed to P2. P3, because most people do not own productive resources, they have to accept whatever conditions are set upon them by the owners of those resources in order to gain access to those necessities.
Yeah, I would say that would be in the case of like a monopoly where one person owns everything. That would be the case, but there's so many different
They
owners that
still must
if one
accept
person
whatever condition the owner gives them. Doesn't matter who the owner is or how many owners there are. They still must accept the conditions of the owner.
if there's an owner, well, not necessarily, because if there's an owner giving them a bad condition, they can just move to a new one. There's more
Which
than
would be
one.
owned by another
out there.
person giving them another condition. So it's not about whether the conditions are good or bad. It's just that they have to accept whatever those conditions are.
If there's like, okay, let's say there's like an Airbnb, right, that gives someone bad conditions if they're staying there for 3 weeks. They're going to be rated bad. No one's going to go to them because there's other options out there.
Again, we're not talking about good or bad right now. It's just that the fact that if
Okay.
you are not an owner, you must accept whatever conditions the owners place because you don't own productive resources. So you just have to accept, if I don't own a home and I can only rent a home, then I must accept whatever the people that do own the homes tell me.
If you're not going to opt out of that deal, yeah, I would say.
If I opt out
But
of
you
that
have the
deal, I
choice
go
to
homeless.
step out of that deal. No, because there's other places that you can.
That are owned
rent
by
from.
other owners whose conditions I would have to accept. You're thinking of it as like
Yeah.
one specific owner, but it's anybody who owns
Okay,
productive
yes.
resources. Great. So you agree with, so the premises are all true and you agree with them and the structure of them are valid. Then the conclusion
I think there's
is
more to
that
it, but yeah.
private property creates an ethically unjustifiable relationship of domination and coercion by making it so that anyone who is not an owner must accept whatever conditions the owners set to access things that they need for survival.
Okay, but you could say the same if the government owned it. They would have to accept the conditions that the government gave them.
So the government doesn't own it. In socialism, it's owned by everybody.
Well, the government would own it. The government,
It would be
there's no
owned by
private property.
everybody.
How would it be owned by everybody? Could you explain that to me?
Because private property can't be owned by a single individual or corporation. It is collectively owned by everyone who lives there. But I just want to point out here, you agreed with the premises, which means the conclusion is valid and the structure is sound.
Not really,
so there
'cause I
should
don't
be
think
no
the
reason for you to
conclusion's valid.
reject the conclusion. If you agree with the premises, there's no reason to reject the conclusion. You agree that it's unethical for a person to have arbitrary power. And the rest of the premises only explain how people in capitalism have arbitrary power. So if you agree that it's unethical for a person to have arbitrary power, and you agree with the framework of the other 2 points, then you would have to agree with the conclusion.
So just because someone's a landlord doesn't mean they have unethical or arbitrary power over every resource the person has. It's not like
they
like
have arbitrary
slave to
power over the resource that they own, which is the home, the housing. They have arbitrary over shelter. Like
But
housing
they
would be
bought
the
the
resource
house.
they
They're
have
renting it
arbitrary.
out to them.
Again, that has nothing to do with it. They still have arbitrary power over a resource necessary for someone else's basic survival.
Again, I think so you asked 3 points, and then if I agree to those 3 points, you're like, oh, you can't debate against socialism or communism.
No, it's not that you can't debate against socialism or communism. It's that you would have to agree with my conclusion that that capitalism is a dominated, coercive practice. If you disagree, then you would have to tell me which of the premises you reject and why.
Can you give me your premises again?
Sure. P1, It is unethical for one person to have arbitrary power over another person's ability to meet their basic needs. P2, private ownership of productive resources gives owners the authority to decide who may access the resources necessary for survival, such as housing, workplaces, farmlands, factories, food, water, etc. P3,
Yeah.
because most people do not own productive resources, they must accept the conditions set by owners to gain access to those necessities. Conclusion,
So
therefore, private property
who's-
creates an ethically unjustifiable relationship of domination and coercion.
so which resources are you saying? All resources is what most people don't have
Resources
access to.
necessary. They do not own the resource. Most people do not own the productive resources necessary for their survival. So most
So
people don't
when you
own
say like food and
factories
water,
and
like
farms that
are
create
food
the
and water resources necessary for survival?
the productive resources. So this would be the like people, singular individuals don't own massive water filtration systems. They don't own the factories and farms that produce the food. They don't own the homes that can be used for housing. They don't own these things. Most people don't own productive resources.
So you're not talking about like the food and water itself. You're talking about like, because I don't know what productive resource means, but you're
Productive
saying like
resources would be the resources necessary to produce these goods.
Oh, okay, I get it.
So for
Okay.
instance, farmland, farm equipment, that's all a productive resource in food production.
Yeah. So here's where I so yes, it is unethical for these corporations to have like no regulations. They can do whatever they want. Like let's say the water companies are just decided, oh, we don't want these people to have water, so they cut off like water to an entire town. That's why I think there should be regulations that the government sets in place on them, but they should still be able to own what they own. Like the government should be able to step in
Why
and say, no, you can't do that.
why do we not just take it the step further and not let them own those productive resources? If we know that through their owning of the productive resources, they are going to essentially do things that harm people to the point where
Well,
we
why
need
do
the
we know they're going
government
to
to
do that?
regulate it, why not just not give them that access in the first
It's
place?
not. It's just a safeguard. It's not saying, oh, they're going to do that. Just because there's a law that says you're not going to go out on the street and murder someone, or let's say there's a okay. Just because there's laws against murder doesn't mean that I'm going to go on the street and murder someone.
I just want to point out, it is almost without a doubt that the owners of productive resources will cut corners to save cost every step of the way. They will violate regulations if it saves cost every step of the way. Oftentimes, because the violation of those regulations is going to be more cost effective than it will be to pay the fine of those regulations. Like the fine is a whatever, because they save more money in the violation of those things. The reason we have regulations in the first place is because the owners of said productive resources consistently made unsafe working conditions.
And that's why we have that's why it's illegal.
But again, my point is, if we already need to step in to regulate and make sure that these people don't violate OSHA, for example, why not just remove their ability to by removing their ability to own these productive means?
That's like saying, why don't we put everyone in jail because they could murder someone? That doesn't make sense. Like, why don't we take it a step further?
Could be like saying, why not just take away people's guns if they're just using guns to kill people? Which I
they're
think
not just
is
using guns to kill people.
no, but I'm giving you what a better analogy would have been to what you said. Like that would have been a better analogy, right? But again,
the point where
the premise that I'm pointing out here is that when people are able to dictate who gets access to productive resources. It creates a system of coercion and domination, specifically in the way that labor is stolen and undervalued from the labor class.
Could you show me an example of that?
Yeah, the fact that there's billions of dollars in wage theft every year in this country that goes unprosecuted and unreturned to the people who've had their wages stolen.
So, like, how do they have their wages stolen? Like, people don't pay them as much as they're supposed to?
No, wage theft
Basically, is that what you're saying?
specifically tracks things like paying below the minimum wage, unpaid overtime, requiring work when people are off the clock, illegal pay deductions, tip theft, things like that. And
Okay.
currently,
And
currently
so
there is
this
about
recorded
15
data.
billion per year in minimum wage violations and up to 50 billion per year when it comes to all wage theft combined.
Okay, so there's this recorded data. I'm assuming that it's valid, right? Do they know where it came from? Like, can they track each agency to know where it came from?
The only way to know when wage theft is happening is if it's being reported. If
Okay,
it's not
so
being
then
reported,
what
there's
happens
no
when
way
they
to know.
report it? When it's reported, does the government step in, or do they sue them and try to get their money back? Like,
Sometimes.
or do they just like?
But for instance, between 2021 and 2023, of the 50 billion per year that's stolen, only 1.5 billion was given back. So for 3 years, over 3 years, $150 billion was stolen, only 1.5 billion was given back. So only 10% of people who had their wages stolen had them returned to them.
Yeah, I think the system needs to be reformed. I think we need to do a better job of
Or
looking
counterpoint,
at rate. Wait, let me talk.
we abolish it.
I think we need to do a better job of tracking down on wage theft, and I think there's a better way we can do that where we don't have to incorporate communism into our system.
Or we abolish people's ability to own productive resources, so they cannot do these things.
Okay, so I'm curious. So what does your ideal system look like? Like, once you abolish private property, all this stuff, like, what do you expect? Because I know there's many different forms of socialists and like communists. So I want to see what you think.
What I think about what? Sorry, say that again.
Like, what's your like ideal system of government that you think should be in place?
I don't know about my ideal system of government, but my ideal system when
Like,
it comes
what
to
does
the
your
way we
socialist
structure an
system look like?
economy, well, again, that's vague, right? A system of government
Yeah,
would
but
be is like a very like a 100-step process. But if you're asking me like how should we structure the economy to better help
yeah.
the people, it would be removing individual ownership over productive means.
I mean, it sounds like you got this plan, but you don't really know what's gonna happen if you do it. Like,
It sounds no, it doesn't sound
is
like I
there
have a
a
it
place?
doesn't
Is
I
there like
wait.
a okay?
It doesn't sound like I have a plan that I don't know what to do because I've never once claimed to have a complete system of governance. I've never made that claim. What I have said is these are the reasons why capitalism is unethical, and we should move to a system that removes the unethical practice of coercion based upon ownership of productive means.
And there's ways to do that without incorporating socialism or
There
communism.
is no, because
And that's what
communism
I'm
and
saying.
socialism are just the abolition of private property. So no, there's no way to do it without just moving to those systems. It's just like, oh, I want to do those systems, but not call it that. Okay. If I put a hat on a horse, it's
Not
still a
really. 'Cause
horse.
putting regulations on capitalism is still capitalism at its root.
I don't
Even
want
if there's
regulations. I want
regulations.
an abolition over the ability to own productive means.
So my question to you is how does the government give out property? Like
Oh,
in your
that's your
world?
time, Connor. I got to go get my lunch, so that's your time.
Okay. Oh,
It was definitely a call. Thanks for calling. Be right back, chat. All right. Take the next call. Mason, let's talk out Mason's office hours question real quick. Mason, if you can hear me, can I just get your age and pronouns? Hello? 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 Hello?
I say slurs. I hate black.
Huh? Okay. I think Mason's sibling was trying to be edgy, is what that sounded like. Holy shit. Okay. We'll take the next call. Solomon from Florida, going to talk about topic number 1, because that's all we're talking about today, apparently. Solomon, if you can hear me, please provide me with your age and pronouns.
I am 33 and he, him.
Great. 33 he him. Okay. And if you could, Solomon, you're a bit loud, like your mic's gonna peak. So if you could just take a little bit of a step back from the receiver, just so it doesn't peak or anything.
Is that better?
Yeah, I think it's a little better. All right, Solomon, I believe that capitalism is unethical. Do you disagree? And if so, why?
I disagree and agree, but I mostly disagree, and I think that it is what makes America free and gives us the promise of the American dream.
Huh?
I can elaborate on that. Whereas my family came here in 1948 after World War II. We were displaced from Hungary. I'm Jewish. And my great-grandfather opened up a fish store with no money and started a fish store, no kids, had a wife, figured life out, lived 55 years. And, you know, there were bigger fish stores, there were other things, but at the end of the day, like, I believe that we all have our own, basically, our own life, and we have to chase whatever dreams we want. And if we wait for somebody else,
Solomon, what about all of the people who came to America to have a better life and then became homeless because of crushing medical debt?
well, why did they have crushing medical debt? What happened?
Because they got
did they come
cancer
to
and their
America
insurance
sick?
wouldn't cover it.
Right. I think that one of the best things Obama did was you can run up medical bills and not pay them, and they can't go after your personal credit score for that. So there's really nothing
medical bills do go on
medical
your
debt.
medical bills do go on your credit. Actually, I hate to burst that bubble.
I mean, I've had 4 children and hasn't affected my credit score once, and I didn't have insurance.
Medical bills can affect your credit, like currently.
Can, potentially. But at least in the state of Florida, they cannot.
So it's
I don't know about every state. I definitely know Florida.
For the people that are struggling,
the people
because
that it does,
capitalism
the people that do
incentivizes
struggle,
healthcare, it just sucks to be them, I guess.
Well, in general, if you don't do things that would get you on healthcare, or if you don't get on the government healthcare, which we do have Medicaid, it's not hard to get on if you need it.
Most single working age people cannot get access to Medicaid.
I have tons of friends with Medicaid, so I disagree.
Have tons of friends is not a response to the fact that most single working age people cannot get access to Medicaid.
Is it because they make too much money?
There's a litany of reasons. Like, take Florida, for instance. I live in Florida. It's really hard to get Medicaid in Florida if you are working. It's reserved for people who are not working. So if you're working and your job offers you shit insurance and you get sick and you have to suffer through hospital debt,
Do you have to work at that job, or can you go somewhere else?
Okay, so capitalism gives me the freedom to go get shit insurance somewhere else.
Capitalism gives you the freedom to go get a great job somewhere else to make you more money to pay for whatever insurance you want.
And the people that don't? Because the
I don't
job market is
understand the
filled
people
with
that
ghost
don't.
jobs, so it's really hard to get work.
Is it? Look, you created your own job, didn't you? Right now we're talking on your platform that you created by yourself, right? Obviously YouTube had to make it and all these streaming things, but you by yourself decided one day, I'm going to become a voice. and maybe this will make me money.
No,
And
that's
you
not
did
what
it,
happened.
and I'm very proud of you. Can anybody do what you did?
No, I got very lucky.
Why?
On the
Do you
sheer
think
the
it's
sheer
luck, or
fact
do you
that there
think it
are
was
the sheer
your
fact that there are tons of
consistency?
people that do what I do who do not do it as full-time work because they don't make enough.
Right.
I got
Do you
incredibly
think that
lucky.
they?
I lucked
Do you think it's
into this
because of your
job.
consistency?
No, it's
Do you think it's
100%
because of your
because I got lucky.
perseverance?
Nope. It's because
How?
the
How does
algorithm
someone
is
just get lucky?
algorithms.
Okay. And you think that because you daily have been posting and you're very out there, that has zero to do with it. It's only the luck.
I got lucky that a couple videos of mine got picked up by algorithms,
Right.
and that's what
But
got me an audience. There are people who are more
since
consistent than
then,
me. There are people who post more than me. There are people who are more consistent in their live schedules than I am, who have less of an audience because they haven't been picked up by the algorithm, who cannot do this full time because they did not get picked up by the algorithm. I got
I hear
lucky.
you.
None of
I
this
think
addresses
that,
any of my points that capitalism is an
well, let's get back
unethical
to it then.
system.
I think that corporate capitalism is unethical. Individual capitalism is beautiful. That would be my stance, because I think that the main problems that most people have with capitalism is the monopoly of extremely rich people that are capitalizing the most. Because I heard, you were talking to the last guy and you were saying the people that physically produce everything are all these massive conglomerates and companies, and we don't have much control. You got Monsanto's, you got whatever it is, right? And those are the massive capitalists that I think everybody
an
agrees are
incorrect
horrible.
assertion of my viewpoint. My viewpoint
Let
is
me
that it is unethical for a singular person to have arbitrary power over productive resources, and capitalism expressly grants individuals arbitrary power over productive resources.
correct. So one of the things that I heard you highlight was
So then it's
water filtration system, right?
that is one of many.
I own 20 acres, right? I have my own water filtration system. I have my own complete electrical grid. I'm off grid. I have all the food that I want to eat in my garden. I have animals humanely raised that I can slaughter and feed my family with. So I am 100% self-sustaining. I don't need anybody other than my hands and my family's help.
Do you know what survivorship bias is?
Let me hear.
So survivorship bias is this phenomenon that happens when people go, look, I was able to do this thing, so everyone should be able to do this thing. But that's not how anything in the world actually works. Your ability to have the capital needed to homestead, I don't remember how many you said, 20 acres, is not consistent to the average American's ability to homestead 20 acres.
It is. Because in 2020, I remember I only had like $7,000 total to my entire name. I was married, about to be homeless.
Most Americans cannot afford a surprise $400 bill. So you having $7,000 to your name actually put you in a better position than most Americans.
Right. So I went from $7,000 in 2020 to around a $3 million total, what I have in life right now. And I can base that
60% of
100% on
Americans
me working.
cannot afford a surprise $400 bill.
60% of Americans don't have the right education to make a good job, to get a good job, to do all the things.
60% of Americans don't have a proper education.
At minimum 60%.
Do you want to stand on this?
Do you think they do? I would
wanna
stand on that all day.
What
I don't
percentage
like
of
the public
Americans do you
educational
think-
system at all.
Whoa. You not liking it is different than them having a proper education.
Well, if you went to public school, you definitely don't have a proper education. That's my opinion.
Okay, that's a stupid opinion.
It can be a stupid opinion. It could still be my opinion.
No, it's an opinion that's not based in any sort of relevant facts.
Okay, all opinions are based on no relevant facts. That's what an
Nope.
opinion is. I'm not stating
Nope.
a fact.
Nope. Opinions can be factual and opinions can be non-factual. If I said my opinion is the sky is yellow, that would be an opinion born from no facts. That'd be kind of dumb, right? So
I mean, if
you
you
not
say so,
liking
I don't
public
think so.
education doesn't determine the effectiveness of public education. That's silly.
Right. Well, what you said was 60% of Americans can't afford a $400 surprise bill.
Correct.
What I said is if that 60% had better education, they would make more money.
Why don't the owning class pay them more?
Why don't the owning class pay them more? I think that the owning class pays based on ability. If the person, for example, has great ability, they have skill, they can do things, they're going to be paid very well for that. Have you seen how much money all these AI companies are
in the
paying?
United States, should any job in the United States pay less than a living wage?
No.
Okay. 45% of them do. Or let me rephrase it. 45% of workers, 45% of workers earn less than a living wage. We could take Mississippi as a direct example. 53% of workers in Mississippi earn below a living wage. So it seems like the answer is that owners are not paying people a living wage.
Or
because
if
almost
maybe
half
they're
of the country
possible,
aren't earning a living wage.
is it possible that maybe there is no economy or work in those areas, and maybe it's because we moved all of our
these would be
production
people
to other
that
countries?
are working.
Right.
You said, wait.
There
Should
are
jobs that pay under a living wage should businesses, I'll phrase it this way. Should businesses that pay under a living wage be allowed to operate?
No. Can I get a 1-minute rant on my own, and then you can go back? Okay. Well,
No,
not a
but
rant. What I was going to get on.
You just agreed with me that businesses that pay under a living wage should not be allowed to operate. So then why are about 50% of Americans, 45, so round up to 50, why are about almost half of Americans earning under a living wage if these jobs shouldn't be allowed to do it? They ought not do it.
Because they don't have the education to get better jobs, and they don't have the education to understand they're being taken advantage of.
You said no job should be allowed to pay under a living wage.
I agree. I agree.
But now you're
with
saying
that.
it's the fault of the people for having bad education. It's not the fault of the jobs for paying
if
below
our
a living
government
wage.
actually did a good job of being on top of these companies and making sure that it is a living wage and they're being able to pay it, and that we're not sending all of the good jobs overseas and we're not manufacturing everything overseas, we would have it here. The biggest reason why Mississippi and all of these other states that used to be very heavily in factories, very heavily in farming, are now impoverished is because all the factories and all the farms left America for data centers that don't produce jobs. The data centers, only while they're in construction, have some jobs. As soon as it's constructed, they need less than 20 people to run a massive data center. That's what's actually killing Americans.
Or could it be that Mississippi doesn't want to do anything past federal minimum wage laws?
Or is it that there are probably thousands of businesses in Mississippi that pay far above minimum wage, and people just aren't able to get jobs there because they're not qualified enough?
So again, it's the people's fault. It's not the job's fault.
Yes, it is the people's fault. I also think
it's the people's fault that the jobs won't pay a living wage.
There are jobs that pay a living wage. You said there's 50% that don't. Right. So instead of looking at the glass half full, why don't we look at the glass half empty? There are 50% of jobs that pay a living wage in Mississippi alone. Right? If there's 50% that don't, it means there's 50% that do.
Capitalists like you are hilarious. You're truly funny.
I'm happy.
Because in one breath, you tell me that a job shouldn't be allowed to do this. And then when I bring up that half of the jobs are doing this, you go, well, it's the workers' fault for working those jobs.
It's both.
You've walked yourself
I
into a massive contradiction.
no. I'm happy to agree that I'm contradicting myself, but it's because
Great.
I think
Contradictions are illogical.
both things you said are true. I think that if we had our government that said you have to pay minimum living wage, whatever the living wage is, or you're in contempt of whatever the punishment is, then those companies would have to abide by it, or whatever punishment happens to them would happen. I think that private ownership, economic independence, entrepreneurship, and the right to pursue your own plan are deeply connected to the ideals of freedom. And I think that giving up those freedoms then bring us to, dictatorship.
How is a person who has to work two minimum wage jobs in order to afford housing, how is that person free?
That person should go and try to get on government programs
You
for
didn't
housing if
answer
they
the
can't
question
afford
I
housing.
just asked you.
How are they free? Because they're not in prison. They can wake up in the morning, do whatever they want. They can choose to work at those two jobs, or they can choose to go and, not. They can do whatever they want. That's the freedom, is that there's nobody telling you, you have to go do this. You have to go do that. You can choose that on your own. America gives people multiple ways to build, own, invent, change.
Okay,
themselves.
I'm going to walk
Those
you through.
opportunities.
I'm going to
Okay.
walk you through and ask you some questions. Okay?
Yes.
First question. Do you believe that freedom requires a reasonable ability to refuse exploitative or undesirable relationships without losing access to a basic means of survival?
Yes.
Okay. Would you agree that a minimum wage worker whose income is insufficient to independently secure the necessities of life cannot reasonably refuse exploitive or undesirable employment?
No.
What is your contention there?
I think that you have to have your own morals, and if you believe in yourself, you are not going to just go take any job because you have to
That's
have a
not what I
job
asked.
or whatever. Well, that's what I understood it then. Can you explain it more?
Do you agree that a worker who earns only the minimum wage and cannot meet their basic survival needs without staying employed must submit to an employer's authority to secure those necessities?
Again, no.
So
You don't have to work for anybody
which
that
part of the
will do that.
proposition do you disagree with?
That you don't have to work for someone who's going to exploit you.
If they do not work, they cannot meet their basic needs. They must remain
That's why
employed
the
to do
government
so.
will help them.
They must remain employed to meet their basic needs.
That's a tough predicament for that person. I still
Is
don't
it
agree
the
with it.
No, well, but no. If it's the case that they must work to meet their basic needs, then do they have to submit to employer authority?
I wouldn't. I don't think so.
I'm not saying oh my God. If somebody has to be employed, otherwise they lose their home and access to food and water and healthcare, then it is the case that they must submit to the authority of the employer so they can secure those needs.
Right. I mean, at the end of the day, if you agreed to work for him, then yes, you have to submit to whatever your boss tells you.
Great. So P1 and P2 you agree with. The conclusion
But
here,
you don't have
the
to work for him.
conclusion here, again, why do people do this? When I say an employer, do you think I'm talking about one person, one employer? It is just any worker.
I've not once in all the jobs I've had been exploited.
Any worker, you've been exploited in every job you've ever been a part of because your labor is not paid what it's actually worth. So you are exploited in every job because the only
What if
reason
I felt like I was paid what I was worth?
I don't care what you feel like. there are slaves who felt like they were in fucking Easy Street. Doesn't mean they weren't still slaves. So you agree with P1, you agree with P2.
Okay.
The conclusion here is, therefore, a worker earning minimum wage is not meaningfully free because they do not meet what me and you agreed in P1 would be the conditions to live a meaningfully free life. So this freedom under capitalism is a myth. You're not free. You are required by the nature of the beast to be coercively in control, or to give up coercive control to somebody else.
I agree. We have way too much oversight.
Did I just hear that dumbass shit come out your mouth?
If you think it's dumb, then yeah, you did. I think we have too much oversight.
You think the way to be free is to remove government oversight?
Yes.
Can I ask you a question?
As many as you like.
Were you born stupid, or did you have stupidity thrust upon you later in life?
I'm not sure. It could be either, truthfully.
Which government oversight specifically should we remove? Should we remove OSHA?
No, I don't
What
think we
about
should
the
remove
labor?
OSHA.
What about labor boards?
No.
Then which oversight should be removed?
The fact that right now, let's say you want to plant a tree in your front yard, right? You have to get all kinds of permits to do so. To me, that's not freedom. That's the oversight. Now, do I think that there's
That
a
has nothing to
reason
do with
why they
anything
want
we've
everybody
been
to get
talking about.
permits? And that's one example, the first one that came to my head. I don't know.
So
try
I would
to
like
think
an
of more.
example that's within the realm of what we were speaking about.
Okay. Give me a second to think of another one then. I just don't see it the same way, I guess.
Okay,
I don't think
well,
profit is stolen
learn
from
it
workers.
the same way. Goodbye. Go learn it the same way. Profit's 100% stolen from workers. I could bring up wage theft again, but goodbye. Go see it a different way for all I give a fuck. What the fucking fuck? Faux Rainer paid to boot. Matt also paid to boot. Wait, I want to read Matt's message. Faux Rainer said capitalism says grow by. Matt said Solomon is the most punchable, callous, selfish, arrogant, stupid piece of empathy-free garbage ever. The best $20 I've spent in my life. Go the fuck away. You don't provide your cell service or internet or healthcare a lot. Yo, that was crazy. But yeah, no, true. Also, Billy, thank you for the Venmo as well. Billy said, sorry, he isn't serious and I'm paying to kick him when you want to. He is a ridiculously privileged person or an idiot, maybe both. No, idiot. Idiot. I don't know why it is what is this phenomenon that's happened both of these last calls where I've said specifically, by the way, Matt, I need an invite to one of your Wednesday shows next month. I don't care which one. Just drop me an invite, one of these. Like, but I don't know how many times, okay, I can say that why is it the case that it's like, hey guys, you must be under an employer, and they go, but you can get another employer. That means you're under that employer. like what? Why would you people understand the way this shit works? Oh my god. Mason called back. Hopefully Mason is now free of the what sounded like a teenager. Mason,
Hello.
Hello. Was that
I'm so sorry.
Was that a sibling before?
Yeah, they were wondering who I was calling, and so they just said the most vulgar thing they possibly could have, because obviously that was the correct answer.
Damn.
I'm
do you
so sorry.
do you happen to throw hands with your sibling? I would throw hands, but that's just me.
No, I yelled at them. I was
Fair
my
enough.
bad. Anyway,
Same thing. Mason, can I just get your age and pronouns, friend?
I am 18 and they them.
Okay, great. All right, what's your question, Mason?
My question is just basically, I had two, but the first one is like, do you think that like democratic socialism is actually like viable in our current political climate in America? Because like I've been seeing like a lot of publicity recently on like democratic socialists like running for like Congress and stuff, and like it just doesn't seem like it's going to work to me personally.
The reason I would say no is that every person I've seen who's running as a DSA candidate doesn't run off of we need socialism. Does that make sense?
Yeah, basically like they're just like, to me it seems like they're just like running off of like
they
we
may
need to
even
have,
believe
like, free
in
healthcare
socialism
in a democratic way.
Yeah, they may even believe in socialism. And I'm fine in saying like having some Dem socks in office is a good thing, sure, because it normalizes
Well, yeah, no,
Dem
obviously,
socks.
like it's a like,
but none of them
it's a
are
step
running
forward, but I don't think it's gonna like work.
Yeah,
in,
none
like,
of them
a
are running
social-
socialist platforms. They're not running on let's get rid of capitalism. They're running more on like I would say they're more akin to like a labor movement. They're running more on like labor than anything else.
Like a let's do capitalism with a socialist like outsiding.
Yeah,
to it.
like let's do capitalism, but like focus on worker rights.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah. So like, because I've been like trying to decide, because like I do support like Zoran Mamdani, for example. Like he's like really like, it's captivating to watch, obviously, because like he's doing so much good for New York right now. But at the same time, it's a step in the right direction, but we aren't going to get to socialism through democratic socialism, you know? Or at least that's how I see it.
Yeah. I don't know that we're gonna get to. I don't think we can get to socialism through like the DSA. No, I think it's definitely better than not, but I don't think we're gonna do that.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that was basically like my first question, because like I was trying to decide like if I want to like label myself as like a democratic socialist or just like a socialist. And like I've been like just like on the line about that, but like, you know, just wanted to get my like ideas out there. And then like my second question is like, how do you like not justify, but like how do you tell like people who are more like normies in America, like, oh yeah, I support socialism, without having to like explain it every single time to them? You know, like, because like it's like socialism is so like socially like ostracized in America. It's like,
just don't use the word. I'm telling you, it's
like
almost
like,
every time. Just don't use the word, and they're going to agree with you every time. Most of these people are hella pro-union. Most of these people are not pro-big business. Most of them disagree with major capitalist movements. They just don't like using the word socialism and communism because of the Red Scare.
Yeah, that's basically like what I've been doing. But then it's like, oh yeah, but is there a name for that? And then I say socialism, and it's like, oh, that's bad. It's like, okay, whatever. So you agree with all of the policies, but you don't agree with the name.
Typically.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's like, yeah, it's just because like I'm like the most not normal. Okay, that sounds weird, but like I'm like the most like out there like American, because I'm like queer, socialist, and like I follow Satanism, which isn't like, it's not what people think it is, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like the absence of worshiping God. Anyway, yeah, that's basically just like what I wanted to call about. Sorry about the first call again.
No problem. It wasn't your fault.
Yeah. All right. Well, bye-bye.
All right, have a good one. All right, it's the last 30 minutes, so we're gonna move away from politics. Y'all know what time it is. It's time for your pop culture takes to meet my pop culture takes. Last 30 minutes of the show. Prove me wrong on any of my amazing pop culture takes. What do you want to know? Ask me questions. It's time for the last 30 minutes. If you're gonna call to try to convince me that Breath of the Wild ain't the best Zelda game, I've won that debate like 4 times. Opinion on the Moulin Rouge musical and movie. Movie is okay. It's a guilty pleasure. The musical is fucking dog shit. The Broadway musical is dog shit. Tim Burton Batman's the best Batman? No, Robert Pattinson's Batman is the best Batman we've had on film. Save for that 1 10-minute scene in the Flash movie with Bruce Wayne and Barry Allen in the alleyway. That is the best that we've ever. That's the best individual Batman scene that's ever been put to film. Do you fuck with opera? Not really. Like, I have no issue with opera. What's your take on Pokemon? They're games for babies, and I wish we could have a game that actually was difficult. It would be nice to get a Pokemon game meant for adults. But like, Pokemon is a game for very young children that requires almost no thought when you actually just regularly play the game. Thoughts on Power World? It's all right. What's your favorite running Broadway show? Ooh, currently running Hadestown probably. Well, Ragtime, but I'm not counting revivals. Michelle Pfeiffer is the best Catwoman? Probably not. Favorite Fallout game? New Vegas is the best Fallout game. 4 is probably my favorite, but New Vegas is the best one. Have you seen the new Power Rangers trailer? No. Is there some Power Rangers trailer? Hamburger or hot dog? Ooh. Hamburger. Specifically a smash burger. Does Matt have a gaming channel? If he doesn't, he should. And I should be invited on that too. Need your take on Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon solos almost the entirety of the verses. But I'm just not a big fan of the show. I think the show's fine. Have you seen Ma Rainey's Black Bottom? I did. I like that movie. Fallout 76 is the worst one. It's so different that I don't put it in the running. Like, it's just a vastly different experience. Favorite live action Spider-Man movie, or who I think is the best Spider-Man? Andrew Garfield. But Tom Holland might beat him next week. We'll find out. But right now, I think Andrew Garfield is the best Spider-Man. Thoughts on Chess the Musical? It's always been pretty weak. It's got a couple good songs, but the book of Chess has always been weak, and there's not been a revival that's fixed that. Chess works best as a concert. Vincent, if it's possible, could you call back with that tomorrow? We're just moving away from office hours. My brain's a little fucking fogged. So I would just give a call back on that tomorrow if you could. I'll be live at the same time. Do you like Come From Away? Yes. Great musical. I disagree that Garfield's Peter Parker sucked. I disagree. Yeah. If we could just like have office hours, if we could do office hours tomorrow. I'm cooked on politics right now. That's why I'm taking a break for the last 30 minutes. 2D Sonic versus 3D Sonic. 3D Sonic. I think is infinitely better. Is Doctor Who gonna come back? Probably. Anastasia the musical versus the animated movie. Animated movie is more campy. I think the musical handles the source material a little bit better and more serious. Thoughts on Little Shop of Horrors? Love it. Have you watched Marriage Toxin? I have not. Blair Witch is a scary game. Disagree. Garfield's a good Spider-Man in a bad cut. Yeah, he's a good Spider-Man in 2 absolutely dog shit movies. Now, I will say that he has some of the best Spider-Man moments in those movies, but the movies are in total are dog shit. Pancakes or waffles? It's like asking me to choose my favorite child. I genuinely can't pick. What's your specific beef with Rocky Horror? I just never got into it, and I think there are too many people that have made in their lives Rocky Horror their whole personality, and that's just like it's not that good. Like, it's an okay B movie, it's an okay fun little thing for like a night, but it's not personality worthy. I'm also shocked that it hasn't been canceled at this point, that we still do Rocky Horror. Have you seen Apothecary Diaries? Yes, loved it. Which iteration of TMNT is the best? This might get some flack. Rise is goated to another level. If I could get a reboot, or not a reboot, a continuation of Rise of the TMNT, on God. I'm keep asking you to drop the hot take on Doomsday. I actually think Doomsday's gonna be pretty good. Siobhan should do more gaming content. You guys should watch my gaming content when I do it more. Anohana's not the best anime. That's a lie. Oh my gosh, why does everyone just want to talk? Okay, Alex from Virginia. Why does everyone just want to talk to me about Breath of the Wild?
No. I agree with you. That game is the best one, but just hear me out. I think also it's great to talk to you. I think you're dope as all.
Thank you.
I think it has ruined every other Nintendo property though.
How?
Like, every game has become an open world clone of Breath of the Wild, dude. You can't deny that.
Donkey Kong Bonanza?
I haven't played that one, so I can't confirm or deny on that one. So
Kirby?
But like
the most recent Kirby game? I would argue that every game has actually become, except for Zelda, has actually become a clone of Mario Odyssey.
Ooh.
Which in and of itself is just a clone of Mario 64.
You know what? I didn't really think about that. You know what? You might got me there.
I'll take my number 6. I'll take my win number 6. Thank you.
You have a good one.
You too. I'm so good at this, man. Nailing it. All right, Dahlia from Tennessee, what's up? What do you disagree with me on?
So I'm calling specifically about Pokemon. I can agree that the main series game plays, if you play through just the main game, is a baby series for babies. I can agree with that. However, there have been games that have been released, particularly the GameCube games, that are a much higher difficulty curve than the original game, than like the main series.
Like what, Coliseum?
And I think that a lot of people sleep on those.
Or like,
yeah, like Coliseum and
Gale,
XD.
what was it, Gale of Darkness or something?
Yeah, XD Gale of Darkness, yeah.
Sure, I don't think that
Especially
discounts that
because,
like the overwhelming majority of Pokemon games are made for like kids who are like 7.
Sure, and you know, I'm also biased because I play competitively, so
yeah,
you know, I hear
think
baby
the
games for
majority,
babies. I'm like, actually,
the majority of people don't play competitively, you know, and to play Pokemon competitively, they had to make a bunch of rules to make it more difficult.
true, and like playing in a doubles format inherently makes it more difficult too, and that's why I say like Coliseum and XD are definitely examples of like officially released Pokemon games that a lot of people struggle with.
Yeah, so I think that's a number 7 for me on still
Yeah,
being right.
yeah, that's fine.
W 7 7 wins for me. Thanks so much for calling, Dahlia.
Thanks, Jovan.
Come on, y'all gotta give me a better topic. Tony from Illinois. Tony, you're gonna lose the Breath of the Wild conversation. I've won that conversation like 5 times.
Well, then it should be an easy 6.
Super, gonna be. Why is Breath of the Wild not the best Zelda game?
Not only is Breath of the Wild not the best Zelda game, I don't even think it's a good open world game.
Well, you would be wrong.
So one of the main contentions I have is that an open world game, especially Zelda Breath of the Wild, boasts that you can kind of just go anywhere and do anything, right?
Which you can.
You can, but you're not rewarded for doing so. And in fact, because of the way
disagree.
the weapon degradation system works, you're hindered by that. And I can
You're
give
not
you an
rewarded
example.
with weapons. I will agree with this, but you are rewarded with armor, which in
You are
turn makes the
rewarded
game
with-
easier.
Okay, so when I first played the game, wound up in the Ice Mountain area earlier than I should have been. So I actually had to heal tanks through the cold damage. I found a Shrine of Combat, in which then I fought a Guardian.
Wait,
I
the
blew
Ice
through-
Mountain, like the one at the
Yeah,
the one in the plateau.
No. Once you get off the plateau. The
Okay,
broader,
you-
I forget the name of the region.
Wait.
I-
You didn't just like leave and go get some peppers so you could survive without freezing?
No. Sometimes I can be really stubborn, but the problem that's not the problem. I was actually doing it, right? Like I head smashed through the problem, and I was able to find a Shrine of Combat, in which then I fight a Guardian, and I blow through all of my weapons. The Guardian has so much health because the area I'm punching way above my weight. But I am dodging him. He's coming in. I'm getting that, like, just frame, sidestep. I'm doing the slashes. I'm whittling him down. Didn't take a single hit of damage. Blew through all my weapons. I had to leave. Shouldn't a game in which you are able to go anywhere also mean that given the skill that you have, you should be able to take on any challenge?
You were doing an optional side quest.
Yes.
That is
I was doing an
designed
optional
for
side
people
quest.
who need a bit more of a challenge.
Okay, but and that challenge did not meet my skill. I was
Yes,
blowing
because
through that
you
enemy.
were not at that point. You were not at that point. That's like saying, oh, shouldn't I be able to go take on this boss battle at the... No, you can. You just have to be really fucking good to do it. People have beaten
couldn't. That's
Ganon
what I
with
was saying.
sticks.
Right. But what I'm saying is I couldn't
Skill
do it
issue, bro.
because I couldn't do it not because the enemy was hard. The enemy never touched me. I couldn't do it because I ran out of equipment because my weapons broke. But
Skill issue.
Let's take Elden Ring as an example. I could run up to that same situation, and with a broken sword, it might take me an hour. If the enemy never touches me, I could still beat him, claim a huge amount of reward, and walk out of there knowing that
Breath of the
with my
Wild's weapon
skill-
degradation allows for use of more weapons. You don't just get one weapon that you like and then use it. It actually forces you to not only practice with all the weapons in the game, but it forces you in combat scenarios to actually have to think about the combat scenario you're in. What you're saying is you'd like an easier game, a game in which all you have to do is swing and dodge. I'd prefer a game that makes me think a little bit more critically about combat. Not only do I have to worry about swinging and dodging, but I have to worry if I'm entering into a combat scenario where I have the tools necessary to survive it.
But there's a lot of combat scenarios. So I will give you that and when you get to encampments and stuff, and you have like 5 guys, you can drop rocks on their heads, you can come down with your glider with bomb arrows and stuff. But then there's a lot of just throw you in an arena with a guy. And I think that there's a lot of that doesn't
That
meet-
happens like once. Well, not once, but there's like just the shrines. You don't have to go into the shrines.
The shrines, boss fights too. Boss fights, I don't think, like in the old Zelda games, a lot of boss fights
Every one of the blights you can beat with like a stick. They're not that strong.
You can. What I'm saying is that yes, you can beat with a stick. You can beat with a single stick. but that doesn't mean that what the challenge you're presented is deep. That doesn't mean it's really utilizing the combat or the features, the stuff that made, you know, what I was talking about with the encampment.
All of the blight fights, all of the blight fights require you to use every one of the Sheikah Slate tools that you're given. The water blight fight requires you use the bombs. The electric blight fight requires you use magnesis. Like every one of them requires you use a different tool that's offered for you, so that when you get to the finals Ganon round, you use all of the tools in your disposal. You get cooked right now.
Okay.
Cooking you right now,
sure
Tony.
I'm pretty sure I just parried that one of those blights, and I didn't even use any of the
You
bombs
physically
or
can't
things
beat
there.
the Thunder Blight without shocking him with the thunder things he puts on the ground. You have to pick them up with magnesis and shock him. You physically can't do it.
Unless you have a thunder sword.
The Thunder Sword only works if you can get up to him, but he's high in the air.
Yeah. Okay. But when you're walking around the world, okay, so here's the thing. A lot of these weapons, you say that you have to use all of your different weapons in these different situations and all these different encounters, but how many of those weapons actually function differently from each other? How many of them are just swords with different levels of damage and degradation? It's not
Most are
as much as you
swords,
think.
but this would be no different than any Zelda game where you're given one sword that you use. You have the ability to get bow and arrows, which you then have different types of arrows. You have staffs, which operate differently than the swords.
That's true.
You have, as I said, you have your Sheikah Slate abilities, like the bomb ability, which operates different,
And
which
those
is
are
not a
good.
sword.
Those are good.
And then you have boomerangs as well. You can pick up a boomerang and toss it, and then it flies out, hits someone, and comes back to you. But if your
Let's
thing is
go back to-
that's not different than quite literally any other Zelda game.
Okay, but let's go back to Link to the Past, because you can pick up there's key items in the overworld, like the Bombos medallions. There's bottles you could find, rupees, a mushroom that gives you magic powder. There's a broader kind of array of things you can find, but in Breath of the Wild, the majority of them are weapons. So at a point, your exploration feels like
There's
it's getting
all the
diminished.
monster parts, which you then use to create and upgrade gear at that monster dude. And then there's all the food ingredients, which you use
Well,
to
you get
craft
those mostly
food
through
that gives
combat,
you.
not exploration.
That's
You
not
get
true.
those mostly through.
Wait. How do you get to the combat? It's through exploration.
Yes, to a degree, but there is what is I would say almost like a critical path, and then there's going off the beaten path. When you climb a mountain, you know, I've spent like 20 minutes climbing a mountain. I find a chest at the top of the mountain, and there is a sword up there, and I'm like, cool. I'm gonna throw that in my bag with 15,000 other swords that I'm not gonna use.
In other Zelda games, you only find good stuff in the dungeons. Other than the dungeons, like
Well-
your example of other stuff to find was rupees.
No. I didn't say that. I used Link to the Past, and I said you find key items. You find like the Bombos medallions. You find the mushroom for the magic powder. You find the Pegasus boots. There's so many other things that you find throughout the world just playing. Hell, you jump into a hole and you get cursed and you get half magic. Like, and that's like a really cool little moment, right? There's not much going on there in terms of the exploration outside of your critical path when you go to like the Zora Kingdom and all of that to continue.
This is completely
But,
untrue.
like,
Breath of the Wild
Yeah?
is the most exploration-heavy Zelda game ever made.
well, I'm saying that, yes, it's like you have a giant bag of flavorless potato chips. Yes, there's a lot you can find.
care more about the destination than the journey. To you, it doesn't matter what's on the path. All that matters is what's on the end of the path.
I would like there to be more at the end of the path, because otherwise, yeah, I
Why?
mean, sure. Why? Because if I didn't buy a scenery viewer. There is stuff that I'm told is to be found in the world, and in Zelda, you get the jingle every time you open the chest. They give you the anticipation. They know it's crack. They know it feels good to find things in these games. What am I going to open up next? What's going to be in this thing? So when you don't reward the player,
Your reward in Breath of the Wild is your ability to further explore the world. So you get this large sandbox and you realize, oh, I can't go into this place because it's too hot. I can't go into this place because the enemies are too hard. I can't go into this place because it's too high up and I don't have the stamina. And then you work to it and you work to it and you're like, oh, I can get to this place. Now I can get to this place. Now I can fight this guy. Now I can do this. Your reward is through natural progression. It's not through casino tactics of, I'm going to play a jingle and give you an item to signify to you that you did a good job. The progression through the world is the reward.
And that progression is hampered by the fact that there isn't as many meaningful things to find than in other, I think, better open world games. I can give you an example.
I just disagree with you on that.
Okay. Well, I guess we're kind of at an impasse here, because it's like, I agree and I disagree, but I don't feel like you've really dismantled my argument that much.
Well, your argument was it's a bad game because I don't like it.
No, I think it's a bad game because I think that when you look at open world games, I think that there is a repetition to them. Always. In every game, there is a repetition to these open world games.
Wait. It's because you want your open world games to be more linear and to be giving you items to signify your progression, and not to have the progression naturally come through some form of diegetic storytelling, like you being able to naturally just enter an area and no longer, like, there is no better feeling in a Zelda game than the first time you kill a guardian and realize they are not as scary of an enemy anymore. There's just no better feeling.
I'm not saying there isn't good moments, but I think we could take an example here. Follow me, if you will. Metroidvanias, not as open, certainly, but there's the whole twists and turns, and you get the same feeling of going off what is supposed to be the critical path and finding something cool. Now let's take something like a Castlevania versus a Metroid. Metroid has a limited number of things that you can find. Usually it's missile tanks, power bombs, and E-tanks, right? Castlevania will give you a litany of all of these different weapons you can find, armors, spells, items. What ends up happening in Metroid is eventually you don't need any more missiles. So you do this whole jumping puzzle, and at the end you find another missile tank. And you go, oh, cool, that's basically just like trash I'm going to throw on the pile. It kind of diminishes itself in its rewards because it doesn't offer enough incentive for you to keep exploring the world. While something like a Castlevania, you might find some weapon that you have never even seen before. And yes, you could run the same weapon over and over and over again, but maybe you found yourself a new favorite that completely changes the way that you control your character. Those incentives throughout that kind of game is the string on the cheese on the string that keeps you engaged in what otherwise could be what would feel like a copy and paste world, which is beautiful as Breath of the Wild is. I think because you don't have a lot of incentive to keep exploring beyond finding what ends up being a very limited pool of things, you kind of start feeling the world to be a little empty comparatively to its contemporaries, where something like Elden Ring, which is massive, and there is so much stuff to find at every corner, and it always feels fresh. Hello?
Oh, I was muted. I'm gonna say this: half the stuff you find in Elden Ring, you don't use. It just sits in an inventory. I don't care if they're padding the world out with stuff. If that stuff just sits in an inventory box and never gets used. Breath of the Wild's progression, the reward is being able to progress further. That's the reward. It's not stuff, and they make that very known in the game. That your reward for progressing is not things. It's your ability to progress further. This is why one of the biggest things you get at the start of the game is the hang glider. So your reward for progressing through the specifically through the Great Plateau is your ability to now fly and explore through the world more. That's why stamina is one of the biggest rewards that you get, because your progression is your ability to explore. That being said, Tony, 83% of people in the chat voted that I won this one, so I'm counting that as number 8.
You know what? I believe in democracy, so you win this one.
W. Thanks for calling, Tony.
All right, thank you.
All right, that's all I got in me. It's been 4 hours of show, 3:55, but I'm gonna round up to 4. That's all I got in me. Call back next time we do the pop culture stuff. But that's all I got in me. Guys, I will catch y'all tomorrow. I think I'm doing 2 shows tomorrow, a morning and then a gaming show with the homies. So I'll catch y'all for that tomorrow. Be easy, be breezy, be beautiful, be cover girl. Thank you to the people that supported the show. Thank you for the super chatting. Thank you to the mods. Thank you to the screeners. Thank you to everybody. I'm gonna go take a nap, and I will catch y'all on the flip side. All right. Goodbye.